Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dope Chick episode number 71. ROSTERMANIA is well and truly still underway, and over the last week or so we have got a lot more clarity on what these top teams are going to be doing. Big rumours about what Falcons dropped over the last few days, throwing 2 million racks around apparently, or $2 million, dollars. 200,000 rack, whatever, to go and get Scrappy out of his contract, but that may not be happening. Nadeshot said no, the Falcons tax is coming through in force, and what about the rest of the teams trying to form teams? Are FaZe going to be any good with their new roster? What are Toronto cooking up? They're bringing back Clinics and Insight again. Are any of these teams going to be good enough to take down OpTic next year? Gentlemen, we've got a show on our hands. Don, welcome back. It was a pleasure to have you on board last night for the BP Awards. We can talk about that a little bit, some of the controversy, but it's good to have you back in the building.
Yeah, we back. Hopefully I don't miss another show. I only missed one, so hopefully I don't miss another one. But yeah, we back. W show on the way, man. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. This is a highlight of my day. So
it's high praise.
Oh, that's nice. That means he likes us. So
yeah,
it means he likes spending a couple hours with it. I just spent 2 days with Rab. Now everyone thinks we're a couple because I posted a picture on Twitter. They said we just got married.
Yeah, it's over for us.
I got the pic it is what it is. Just want to, we'll state live on air. We'll state live on air. Me and Rab both don't swing that way. Nah. Just an FYI, we don't swing that way. It was, it was a funny picture that Damon tweeted. So I thought, I'm gonna nab it. Mm-hmm. That's what we do over our interactions. But listen, ROSTERMANIA is on the way. It's looking good. It's been a juicy one. We got Real to talk about. Verbal agreements. We got orgs crying over verbal agreements. Like, listen, when I was 10 years old and I asked my mum, could we go somewhere, and she says yeah, and then doesn't do it. I was upset too. I really was. But I didn't make a fucking Twitter announcement about it. I just sucked it up, and then we went again next week. So, verbal agreements are not particularly like, what we tend to go off. But yeah, sure, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's crack right on with the show. Thanks to PrizePicks as ever supporting the show this season. Yeah, the CDL year might be done, but doesn't mean there isn't plenty of other sports and esports ongoing around the world right now. If you guys want to get involved, use code Breaking Point. Link in the top line of the description. Claim $50 in your first $5 pick. Download the app, all that good stuff. Let's get right into it, and let's get on for this image real quick. Let's just dive into the award show from yesterday. We saw a bit of controversy. Obviously, we were presenting the awards tray, so I just couple comments on the way that things are run. I think in hindsight, for some of the fan voted awards, it might have been good for us to bring up the percentages, if you know what I'm saying? Because I know that some people were getting a little bit mad about it. I feel like people were taking it a bit too serious. But we took it pretty serious. We were dressing up it was all good. But yeah, there was a bit of controversy about the awards. That guy COD Discussion was going off on the main stage. That's actually why Karma tweeted what he tweeted. He said, and let me find the tweet. He goes, the BP Awards, don't lose sleep over BP Awards, you'll be okay. So yeah, this is a tweet that Damon did at COD Discussion in the replies. It was all going on the timeline last night, Trey.
I mean, shout out to everyone that watched the BP Awards. Let me tell you, it's an absolute stellar one.
It was great, honestly.
We had Zoomer with 10,000 people watching. We had 1,000 plus. We've got Damon tweeting on the timeline. We've got COD Discussion crying 24/7. Listen, if you're gonna sit there and cry about some fucking awards that no one actually really gets an award for, it's online. If you want to sit there and cry about it just because someone won it, because we done fan votes, of course fan votes, majority of OpTic are gonna win it. Are you dumb? Don't sit there and cry about it. How about you fucking do something with your life instead of crying about stuff online all the time? Go touch some grass. All right, have some fun. Smile about it. Because wow, you're a boring bastard.
Trey's in rare form today. He's in rare form today.
The ticket conductor's pissed him off, man. He's going rogue.
I agree with everything you said. I mean, the one good part about it is that I agree. There's nothing serious about, nothing too serious about the awards. But the fact that people are getting that worked up about it, means we did a fantastic job. That means that people
emotion.
Right.
People actually putting some weight onto these awards. You know what I'm saying? So that's good for us, bro. I mean, it'd be nice if hopefully like the more and more we do it, like it is taken seriously. It'd be a good thing for like, you know, maybe some players like it, maybe some players don't. At the end of the day, you don't get paid for it. You know, it doesn't affect you. Does it affect you getting on teams? Maybe the awards are like, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they matter.
Maybe Embos gets a raise because he's
Yeah. You know
BP
what I'm
award.
saying?
Get that in the
You know?
contract. If you get MVP of the BP awards, you get like a little.
Yeah, put it in the contract. Yeah, low key.
I just, you know, I do love, like Don said, the fact that, you know, a lot of people did get angry about it and stuff like that. But you guys have got to remember, don't say the BP awards are ass or something like that, because there's a lot of good people that put a lot of hard work behind it just for entertainment for you guys specifically. Like, you know, we had a producer on the mic. That's why me and Rab were wearing earpieces like it was an MI5.
Yeah, I'm actually
We
glad
have
that worked.
producers in our ear. Like we
Actually
cooked.
worked.
Like, you know.
That was really cool.
We, you know, we're not saying everyone, obviously, you know, there's always going to be stuff like this, but you're getting this stuff for free. Like, you haven't have to pay a dime for this. This is love of the game.
This is so love of the game. Like,
this is the
so
most love of the game
game
of all time. We just do this because we want to grow COD. And obviously, like Don said, you know, people crying about it, whatever, like that, put some weight onto it, but at least show some love too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the boys putting in work, like Easy Mac, Lineman putting so much work getting all the graphics ready and everything for next year, or for this year. I was going to say about next year because you never know, Trey, next year we might just hire out a damn arena and run this in person. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, listen, I did walk into your apartment complex and there was a red carpet with a couple paps there, but
yeah, I mean, it happens.
I mean, that was just, I mean, it's like I can't even travel publicly these days. I get swarmed. You know, it is what it is, but you know, I made it there. We done what we could. We had a great time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know, there was even some of the ones I didn't agree with. You didn't see me go on Twitter about it, you know.
Yeah, we just got posted out there
Like, bro,
live.
it was voted on. The other awards, like people were saying, like the LAT awards, called the LAT awards. I mean, people voted for them. Like it wasn't like literally who all voted. Like just name a couple of people. Like
The flank.
So Zuma and all them voted. Aches,
Yeah, the flank
Parasite,
voted.
Octane.
Like we voted.
The
OpTic
OpTic guys
too.
voted, so like Zin.
Yeah.
So what? So Zen voted. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Easy
like
Mac
it
will
was
have
just
the full
like,
list, but I mean the list was pretty substantial because there was about like almost 40 ballots, right, that came in. Something
That's what
like
I'm
that.
saying. So I'm
About
saying I'm
35,
just trying to
40
name
ballots.
the people. I'll just give an example because like
The fan vote had a part to play, but like the majority
all voted
of
for it.
most
Yeah,
of
we
the
all
votes were
voted
done
for
by
Scrappy.
community
Scrappy
people.
was the MVP. You know what I'm saying?
But listen,
like they
the-
were good.
the fan votes weren't for anything like really super serious in terms of like AR Player of the Year. You know,
think,
there
I
wasn't.
think it was factored in like to a percentage basis, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like it, most of the things were just defined by what the people voted for.
Yeah.
Apart
I
from,
feel
like,
it
you
was
know,
accurate.
Like all the coaches
wanted
did
to-
it, I think.
Yeah, we wanted to get like, you know, community outreach on some on the funner ones, like best clip of the year, you know, best show, whatever like that. So, you know, Gersh did text me this morning as well. You know, he was
Congratulations,
appreciative.
Gersh.
He was appreciative of it. So, you know, it's lovely stuff.
So we
Absolutely.
put Scrap fifth for MVP. I don't know. You'll have to ask Easy Mac. He knows. I went back to look at my ballot to see what I put in, but it's been deleted, so I can't see it. But I can ask Easy Mac and he'll send it to me.
Wait,
what I actually put
is
in.
he delete?
Well, I went to the link he sent me initially, and like I think he copied and pasted everything into another document, so I couldn't see what I actually voted for. But I can figure it out. I did
I've still got all mine
as
there.
my fifth rookie of the year, to be fair, though. So
I've still got all mine there.
Okay, I might see if I can find mine in a second, but
Yeah, no, rookie of the year for me, I done Rencor, Super, Merc, Exnid, Lunas.
yeah, so that's like fair and reasonable.
MVP, I done Scrap, Shotzi, Dashy, Celium, Huke.
Interesting. Let's see if I can get mine up real quick. If I can't, it's all good. But yeah, that was the BP Awards. There was some 250, 249 bangers. I understand it both ways. You know, there's going to be some debate, but that's what it's all about, right? Like, if we're not initiating debate, then what is the point of being around the scene? So that was the BP Awards. The next thing I wanted to get into is the Spanish Civil War, because I found this pretty funny. So if you guys haven't seen this going around, Real was on Miami. Now, Rancor was wanted by FaZe, but Miami said, no, we ain't selling him. Because as we said last week, if Rancor gets sold, they're cooked, right? They obviously need to keep him. So they basically told FaZe, we're keeping him, unlucky. And that's how it looks. Now, Toronto have wanted, they've wanted Rail before. Now he's a free agent. They went out to try and get him. They told him, okay, we're going to triple your salary to bring you into Toronto for Koi for the new year. But we know that they tried to do that before. They tried to buy him before, and Miami fucked him around. That was the rumor anyway, that they tried to buy him. And then they told him, or they got told that, yeah, we'd sell him, and then they didn't sell him, and it was all sorts of drama, and eventually he stays on Toronto, even though Rail's been quite hot property over the last couple of seasons. Then he's an unrestricted free agent. His contract is over. Toronto offer him 3 times his salary. Miami come back and say, all right, please stay. We'll match the offer. Real then tells him, all right, that sounds okay. But at the same time, apparently you've got Method Sick telling him that in order for that to happen, some of the other lads are going to have to take pay cuts. So then Real's like, all right, screw this. I'm going to go to Toronto after all. And then with all that happening, he presumably signs the deal with Toronto. And then Miami put out this statement. And you've got to respect Spanish card, haven't you, Trey? Like these guys, it's passion over there. It's
I can't respect that. There's no respect
passion.
For that.
So the August come out and said at 12:59 Central European time, he verbally accepted the conditions, and then he's gone back on his word. We understand that he signed. We strongly reject the breach of verbal agreements as it damages the trust and respect that should prevail in our industry. To our community, we reaffirm our commitment to the continuity of the project. So they're pissed off with Toronto as well, because as far as Toronto, the way that Miami are looking at this is that Real and Toronto have betrayed the Spanish community. That's like the way that they're reading it, because the Spanish scene, they have a great team, and Real leaving and Toronto poaching him is like a betrayal for Spanish card. That's like the way that they see it, and I find this all pretty funny, Trey.
Listen, the fucking guy is an unrestricted free agent. You've done it to yourself. Respectfully. Now, what's this verbal agreement stuff that, like, you know, it's like I said, like, if I tell my boy I'm going out on a Saturday and I don't show up on a Saturday, that's on me. All right, that's on me. I lied. That's on me. That's all I can say. Apologies. I lied. Not doing it. All right. I don't get what the issue is, really. You know, Real came out and said what he said. Methods also replied saying it wasn't true about the players dropping the salary. He said he was going to drop his salary. Hey, let's just do something real quick. Why? How about no one drops their salary? And just, you know, how about no one drops a salary and we just pay the boys a little bit more? You know, let's just keep everyone. But no, they didn't want to do that. They tried doing a London Royal Ravens. It didn't work. Now Real's gone to, you know, the counterpart of the Spanish org. And, you know, listen, if I'm making a roster choice, you know, if I'm deciding where I want to go, and my guy iBuy tweets me with 16 million followers,
He has done that.
pleading his case on why you should come play for me,
It's a strong argument.
I'm going there. No questions asked. All right, let me sign the contract. I won't even verbally agree. I'll sign myself away. Yeah, listen, you know, Heretics clutching at straws, in my opinion, for something of a verbal agreement. Someone asked, like, oh, will that hold up in court? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. He said he was going to play with us and then left. All right, found guilty. Like, no, it's just, it's how it is. The players are tweeting him, like, wishing him good luck. Obviously, the players are going to be in the same situation. Like, the players aren't going to be happy with what they've done either. So, it's whatever.
What do you think, Don, from a player perspective?
I mean, I think Real is being a real, you know what, real motherfucker. Not the other word. He being a real motherfucker. He looked out for his homies. Obviously, I think the kid is gross. I think he can play with people that speak English because he's been in eights since at least at MW2. I was playing a lot of eights with him, and he was always good.
FaZe. No, he wasn't on FaZe. That
So,
was
He
Journey.
was on
But like,
Rocker,
he
I think.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
on Rocker
He's
Academy.
he's been around.
yeah,
No,
he
I
was on
thinking of a
some.
different
Yeah,
thing.
he's been around the Americans, and he's always not like he'll fit right in. Looked out for his homies. I mean, there's not much to say. Like, orgs will just drop you and backstab you in the worst situation. Like orgs will do. I don't want to give too many examples. I was thinking about an example with me, but like, don't orgs. They are. You are on the team if you're performing well. As soon as you start performing bad, they are praying to get rid of you. They don't care about you. They can spin it however way they want to. If Real was trash, they would have dropped him. They would not care about him. I mean, I know Eric Boom had great success in Challengers this year. He won a Challengers event, but he didn't play well on the Heretics. Did y'all do a crybaby cheese for Eric Boom? No, y'all just dropped Eric Boom on his goddamn neck. Y'all sent Eric Boom back to his country, and now he's trying to make it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be mad when a player does what's best for them. It literally makes no sense. Like, staying loyal. He was loyal to him. Leaving was him showing loyalty to his homies, to his teammates, because his teammates are in a situation where I don't think they know. I mean, apparently you said Rencor had an offer from FaZe. That's crazy, but like, more likely than not, they're gonna stay on Heretics. It's a Spanish org. You're gonna play with Spanish players. Like, they don't need to take a pay cut. Super doesn't need to take a pay cut. Rencor doesn't need to take a pay cut. And Metals is the role player on the team. I mean, maybe you could argue him to take a pay cut, but like, I'm assuming he's not getting the most money in the world to begin with. Like, are y'all giving Metals 400,000? Like, if y'all are giving him that much, then sure. Like, what are you guys doing? But I don't know. I'll never be mad at a player for doing what's right for him.
Yeah, and I think my other argument on it is like, also thanks to Luke for the 5. Bro would rather play with the .7 Snail, aka Insight, rather than Rencor. Bro is on Mars. So we'll get to that in a second, where he's going to go and what that new Toronto team is going to be. Thanks for the support on the show, everyone, as always. But the point I was going to make, oh my god, Upcast line with the 50. Much like with DJT, I'm done defending the shortcomings. Simp is not the future GOAT, and I think his career takes a turn for the worse from this point. Maybe I'm faded, but we've seen great players unable to form winning teams after a while. Gunless. Damn, we're putting Simp in the gunless category. Well, it's a big 50 bomb. We'll definitely get to that when we talk about FaZe, because, you know, there's a lot of debate. Are his best days behind him? You know, we like that. You know, we like that take here on the Dope Check show. But look, if you're Heretics, right? Yeah, Real left. He said he was going to stay. He left. But it's not like you were about to sign another player and you said no because you thought you were getting Real. Like, it's not actually affected them at all. Yeah, it's bad, and you want to come out with your statement publicly to say like, oh, Real screwed us because he said this and then he did something else to like make him look bad. But the reality, it's not like he screwed you over from a business perspective. He decided to leave, and he was going to leave, and he was able to leave. He was an unrestricted free agent. So it's like, I don't know, it's pretty crazy to me that it's got to this point, and you see all the tweets flying left, right, rhubarb. But look, he's gone. They've got to do something else. They've got to bring some other options into the team. And yeah, it was just all going on, right? Because he did his own tweet and said, this is the saddest thing I've seen in a long time. None of the bosses, talking about obviously this was the pay cut thing, and then Method 6 said that like he said that, but maybe that wasn't true. And then we had this tweet. So Rencor came out and says, my time will come. And Real replies with the SpongeBob gif with him in prison behind bars. So Real's making it pretty clear as to the way he feels about Heretics right now. Like, he thinks that Rencor's... Now, look, I will say I get a bit annoyed when the players often talking about, oh, I'm stuck in contract jail. You don't get too many players talk about it nowadays. And I get it from the players' POV. But also, look, if you've signed a contract, if it says this, the org can do, like, you know what I mean? The org also has rights. Like, if they put a bet on you and gave you some decent money to expect you to be good, and then you played well, right, you delivered, and somebody else wants you, like, yeah, they're going to try and sell you for money, right? So if FaZe want to go and get Rencor, and they want to, you know, FaZe want to pay X amount of money, like, okay, Rencor might want to go to FaZe in that situation, but this is the rumor anyway of the last week or so. Ghost of Hope said it. Obviously, we don't know how reliable that is, but assuming that he's reliable, that FaZe were interested in Rencor, then yeah, okay, maybe Real's right. Maybe Rencor and Real have had a convo, and Rencor's like, damn, I want to go to FaZe, but they're keeping me, they're holding me down. But it's, it is what it is. They're within the rights to do so. Maybe they'll give him a bit of a pay bump next year that they were going to give to Real to try and get him to stay. But yeah, Real clearly ain't a very happy man with the way that Miami have treated him. And I don't really blame him because, like, Real did a lot for that team. He was a key part of that Spanish success. And then on his way out the door, they kind of say, this guy was an arsehole.
Yeah.
Don't know if I fuck with it.
Just to put one more comment on what you just said, like, just because I've been in that situation, Rab, and it's fucking annoying. Because I've been in it multiple times. So once it happens to you once, you learn, okay, there's nothing you can do, handle it professionally. Then 2, you also learn that opportunity I had, like, for example, in Vanguard, right? Trey's team hit me up. Boston hit me up. They didn't hit me up again.
Yeah.
Those after they hit me up, but obviously I'm under contract, so I'm like, damn, Boston's going to champs, Ravens going to champs. I could just go to their team and go to champs and compete. A year after that, I messaged Boston, no response. Year after that, I messaged Ravens, no response. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you never know.
We didn't have the funds, Donnie. We didn't have the funds.
No, I understand. I understand why it didn't
you
happen.
told us you told us 15K buyout. We thought it was reasonable. London said, "Hey, no, it's not good enough. 15K is too much." We said, "All right, boys, let's start scrimping about. How can we pay for this? We need Donnie on the spot." I'm sat there like, I'm on the min, boys. I'm out. I can't afford it. No, can't do it. Not me. I'm looking at Byron and Afro. This one's all you, fellas. Didn't happen. Man, oh
Boston
man.
too. Boston, same situation. They're like, buyout, chop. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just like, from Rencor's point of view, I would be fucking checked. Because it's like, damn, I can join FaZe. But next year, what if Rencor's mid? That can happen. Like all these teams we're finna talk about too, like, I personally think the FaZe team that with 04 and Abuza and Draws and Simp, that might be godlike in a COD where it's just not head banging, head bash. But if the game is like BO6 where it's just pace and head bash, now I'm like kind of looking at the team, I don't know about this team. You know what I'm saying? Things can change from game to game. So you don't, in that situation, it's so annoying because you're like, damn. Like in BO4, I could have joined LG and teamed with Formal and them, but I'm under contract, so it's just chalked. But like now that was an opportunity for me to play with the person I think is one of the GOATs of COD. And now I'm just sitting here getting top 12. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm trying to act like a crybaby. I'm like, get me on LG or get Hook on my team. That's literally what I told my org, and they at least got Hook on my team. So then I was chill. But like, it's just so annoying in those situations. Like
when I wanted to go somewhere, Don, I just refused to play. I said, okay.
Yeah, but I don't like that.
Hey, I'm not
leverage,
playing.
Baby. It's leverage, baby.
What you gonna do? Get rid of me? I'm on a free.
Yeah, that's true.
It is cheeky, but like that's what the incentives are aligned to do.
I said this was when I was on Orbit. I said, all right, I'm not playing then. I said, if you won't let me go or sell me or for cheaper, I'm not playing. Next thing you know, Patrick goes, I'm bringing a lawyer into the call. I say, hey, hang on a minute. I ain't got lawyer money right now. What do you mean? I'm just trying to be weird.
It was just his mate putting on an accent, like he didn't actually.
Yeah, no, he was fucking good at it. Let me tell you that. I had me fucking scared. What, you gonna sue me? I'm playing then, absolutely. Rated. What are we? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's actually finessed you there.
Yeah.
Boom. We got Real Jam in the chat. Any explanation for this tweet? It's a good tweet. I don't know what it means though. Can't figure it out. I'm just trying to figure out what this tweet means. But yeah, congrats on the contract. But
we are accepting donations, Real.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, listen, it's all public now. You've tripled your salary, so that means like triple donation.
Yeah, when that hits the bank account, it's gonna be sensational, I'm sure.
You know. Isn't it crazy how people try and hide their contracts and stuff like that, and you've just got the whole Spanish team just going, yeah, we've tripled the salary, blah blah blah. I'm like,
yeah. That's going crazy. I actually, I love this from Rancor. Like Rancor's just a great guy, man. I just,
He is.
you can't not like this guy. But I mean, look, I will say, Real, look at the tweet. He may have made mistakes in how he handled things or the way he did them. Interesting. Anyway, Rancor
And he said
says
he hopes he said he wishes you the best. It's not when he plays in.
yeah, he says, I hope everything goes great for you, except when you play us. But it's a good treat because I did feel like the way that Heretics like closed it all. As I say, when a player's given a lot to their org was part of the best year in the history of their franchise, whatever happens, at least like pat them on the back on the way out the door. Do you know what I mean?
Real moving like Figo.
Yeah, at least Rancor did that for the org. You know, at least Rancor did it on behalf of the org to say, look.
Yeah.
Thanks to
Listen,
Real
all
for
I'm
his
saying
time.
is, I respect the hell out of Real for just ditching a verbal agreement. I respect the living fuck out of that.
That's some trade shit right there.
That's some trade shit. Facts. I'll do the same shit. Just keep everyone happy.
Yeah, we play the politics. It's part of the game.
Listen, there's a reason politics. Listen, you just finessed a whole entire multi-billion-dollar organization or multi-million-dollar. Sorry, just because you can.
Why not?
No, you said you were gonna stay. Well, I didn't. All right, I didn't. I'm off. Gone. See you later.
Well, Rael says I had an issue with the org, but we already talked about it, bro, in full caps. So yeah, there you go.
I mean,
well,
listen,
exactly.
you can see a bunch of beef kind of go down because it's two Spanish orgs that want to be better than the rest. It's
Well,
like
there was
if another
already
Saudi
drama
Arabian
between
org.
Miami and Toronto anyway when they tried to sell him to them before. So I understand why there's like holdover beef.
Hey, all I know is Real is a hot commodity right now.
Yeah, he was going to go to OpTic.
You know, he's a hot commodity.
All I'm saying, Real,
He's
like
gross.
he's still got the Heretics affiliate badge. It's interesting. Is this
I
their
never said I
final,
was
is this their
signing one.
final attempt? Oh, interesting.
He said
We
I
got-
never
we
said
got
I was
intel.
signing 100%. I said I agree to the terms and they can start working on a contract. Absolutely.
Yeah. See, to be fair, like that's
That's
reasonable,
not a verbal
right?
agreement. He still needs a
Nah.
contract. If the
Yeah.
contract was there ready to sign and he said he was going to sign it,
Because if it's not on paper, words are useless. Yeah, no, I totally agree, Rael. I think that's bang on the money, right? Like, they gave you their verbal agreement as to what their terms would be, and you told them, if those are the terms, sure, I'm down. But obviously, when they draft the contract, there might be a little line at the bottom. There might be a little clause they put in. So obviously, you gotta
tiny
clarify
writing.
that.
The tiny writing that says
Gotta
like
get the
Real has to
lawyers on
join
that.
OnlyFans or something like that if he signs a contract.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It could
So
be
they
anything.
can pay to keep Renkor's salary as high. And
Exactly.
then eBay comes on with the bag, and it's like, well, yeah, damn right, I'm going to go play with Joe.
Yeah, and he tweets Real with 16 million followers. I would have left too.
Yeah, and spark up a bit of drama with the Spanish scene. You gotta
I just saw
respect it.
iBuy with 12 million live viewers on Twitch. I would have been out of there too.
Yeah,
I'd be
So
asking for
anyway,
duo streams.
Heretics
in the
trying their
contract.
best. Yeah, unfortunately though, I've talked to Heretics are talking to their lawyer, and the verbal agreement is legally binding, so he will be in touch.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
Real, you will be getting sued for saying yes.
it's all good. You can pay for the lawyers with the eBay bag.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd actually hate to go against eBay for some lawyers. You know, that guy's got it.
I like Renkor's tweet though. He says, "My time will come," and then he does his tweet with him in the Heretics jersey. So he's locked in. Gotta respect it. Out of Renkor, he's putting
does he
he's
wanna
putting
be
on a good
locked in,
front for
though?
the team. No, he don't want to be locked in really.
Yeah, he wants to go FaZe, isn't it?
He's putting on a good front
Yeah.
though. He's putting on a good front.
Yeah. He texts Simp saying, "Yo,
One more year.
he texts Simp saying,
Vamos. One more
he
year.
texts
Vamos.
Simp, he texts Simp said, listen, mine wasn't a verbal agreement like Real was actually did sign. Like I fucked up. I'll see you in the trenches. Maybe next year though. I got you."
Damn right. Okay, quick aside. Actually, we'll come back to the one final thing on this in a second, but I did want to say, as we're running this show, EasyMac is unveiling the final pieces of the top 20 players of the year. So again, the same voting that we did, the same panel, put together the top 20 players. Top 20 so far is looking like this. Nasty coming in at number 20. 04, Ghosty, Draza, Abizi, Real gets number 15. Kleenex, Super, Abuza, Rencor coming in at number 11. Then number 10, we had, was it Joe Deceives? I think we had Joe Deceives was coming in at 10. Number 9 was Simp. 8 was Hook. 7 was Neptune. 6 was Dashi. 5 was, a little scroll up, Celium. And then if I hit the refresh, I think we're just popping out the final 4. Number 4's gone to Mercules, so there you go. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty with everything. We'll probably have a look at it in the coming days. I had Envoy about 14th, 15th, which maybe was a bit high, but like he didn't even make the top 20, which I thought was a bit insane personally.
Wait, he didn't?
I don't think he did, right?
Oh,
like his Envoy's not.
Yeah, I didn't hear his name.
I
didn't hear you say his name, so shit. Damn, I voted for him in the top 20 for sure.
Yeah, I think maybe he ended up 21st or something, I guess.
So did I, because I copied Don's list.
Yeah.
So we all voted Envoy, and damn.
I definitely had Envoy like kind of high.
I think that boy is dog shit. Yo, what the hell? They think that boy is doo-doo.
Yeah, so Envoy got cooked hard by the end of season voting panel.
Unless
so
he's
thought I'd
first.
throw that out there. Unless there's a surprise in store. But I think when there's only 3 guys left and Mercules is 3 and we've not yet had Hydra, Shotzi, or Scrap,
Yeah,
I think
those
we
are
can
the top
probably
3.
we can probably guess where Envoy was. So yeah,
Envoy
I guess
was 21st.
yeah, he picks up an honorable mention. Yeah, Envoy was 21st. I think it's pretty crazy to me.
Damn.
I mean, I guess.
Hey,
I guess
if
someone has
that
to be
proves something,
21st.
ladies and gentlemen, don't sit in the hill.
Yeah,
Bro,
don't
he
sit
was
into
good
hell.
this year.
Yeah, he was very good.
He was good.
I find it interesting
was like
how
what-
the recency bias gets some players and doesn't affect others, because that's for sure recency bias. Envoy being 21st, in my opinion.
One thing, I mean, Abuza, I did not have Abuza that high, but I mean, according to the players and the other people that voted, I mean, I
The
wasn't
players
watching
do
the
rate
same.
Abuza quite highly, actually.
Players rate.
They do rate him a lot.
him. They rate him. So
He's got Rab blocked on Twitter, so there's no point in trying to get Rabs in Rabs
Yeah, I
Rab
didn't
probably
see
put-
his
Rab put-
contract
Rab probably
signing
put
gift coming up.
48th.
I could actually try and find Rab bit real quick. Anyway, that's what's going on there. Speaking of these type of discussions, actually, before we get to the Kenny thing, quickly on Heretics. So Ghost of Hope dropped this bomb. I don't know if it's true or not, but he says Miami Heretics are targeting Snoopy to play alongside Rencor and Super for the BO7 season, because if you want to keep the Spanish thing going, then your options are pretty limited, and one option would be to go and pick up Snoopy. Could you get him off Boston? Obviously, if I'm Boston, I'm not trying to sell him. Like, I'm asking for a lot of money. But if Miami wanna make it serious and they're trying to pick up best like other Spanish player and keep some of the talent high, if they can offer enough money, I think Boston would probably take it. But would it work with Snoopy? And who do you bring on as the other SMG in that position, right? You bring in Snoopy and Purge? I don't know. I kind of like it.
I mean,
just keep medals, no? Don't you?
Yeah, maybe
yeah,
you
I'd
do.
probably just keep Metals at that point. One,
They gotta
Metals
pay
been
for a
there.
buyout, so.
Metals been there. You know, I don't think Metals had the greatest year in terms of like his stats, but let me tell you that guy played his heart out at the last 2 events, especially EWC. He was actually fire, and he played very, very well, and I actually think he deserved to keep a spot on that team. So, if they're gonna do a 1-for-1 trade, yeah, sure, just get Snoopy in for Real and see how it works out. I'm intrigued to know how much Boston would let him go for, because that's their pride and joy, you know.
Yeah, they've been through.
But like, if
hell
we're
and high
hearing
water.
if we're hearing 100K for Rencor, like, I'm looking at like 30K maybe.
30K only for Snoopy?
I wouldn't sell him for that. That's the thing.
I'm talking like how much
What
people are going
Heretics
to pay
would
for
pay.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's worth 30K. I'm saying how much like Heretics would. Because let's be real.
I'm
if
not
they're
selling him for any
tripling-
less than like 80.
If they're
Maybe
tripling
100.
Real's salary but docking everyone else's salary, they ain't got bread.
Yeah, that's the issue. And if you're Boston, it's like you're selling Snoopy to get yourself like, okay, let's say you sell Snoopy for 50K. That covers you one lot of minimum salary for the year. Like, it ain't really moving the needle. Not to sell your guy.
You might as well just keep him if he's happy to stay there. I mean, if he's not happy, then
You
get
could
rid of
probably
him.
sell Snoopy for more next year, but it depends like whether Snoopy signs a new contract, right? Like whether they do that or whether he doesn't. Because if you're Snoopy, it's probably intelligent like to be an unrestricted free agent next year, not re-sign a new deal.
I mean, he just loves Boston as well. Like, you got to tip it. This guy just loves Boston.
Yeah, I can't see Snoopy not being on Boston, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
It does work well. I like it. I like him being there. I think he's only continuing to develop, but I do think
You know,
he could get
I do
better
wish we
offers
saw
at
more.
some point.
I do wish we saw more player trades too. Like, I think a player trade would be fire somewhere along the line.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Snoopy and Purge, the prevailing wisdom is they're probably going to stay on Boston, but don't cut it out totally. Apparently, Attacher said that Snoopy has got an extension, so there you go. Snoopy locked in to Boston apparently for some time to come. Now, that's the Spanish stuff for the time being. This was pretty juicy. So Kenny came out with a statement on his stream, and he said that young players in the league are not trying to win. He says he don't mind playing with young players, but the problem is they don't have the right mentality. You can ask them, do you want to win? And they tell you, yeah, I want to win. But do they actually play like that on the map? And some of them don't know how. And that's fair enough. Obviously, you can look at this, Don, and you can say, well, how many young players does Ken actually team with? You know,
His last team.
yeah.
Like Trey said, yeah, his last team.
When did we have this discussion? Was it the week
before the
before?
show?
I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday before the show, yeah.
You know, Kenny wakes up, spawns in, turns his stream on. Listen, these young guns don't want to win today. And
Let's get these boys under the bus.
we're thinking, oh, young players. Who the fuck's he team with? That's like fairly young. Geo,
Yeah.
Estrel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nero?
I agree with what you were saying before the show, Trey. But I'll leave you to say that. But just to comment on what he's saying, I think Ken, just because like I know him very, very well, like, and I also heard some things about the team. I think Ken he had a similar mindset to me, where it's like when I was like playing with Jimbo and playing with such and such, is like, yeah, these kids are talented, but we're not in a situation where we have time for us to get pooped on and me teach them the game at the same time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, we brought on Jimbo. He's some talented. He had the #1 stats in challengers. He might have been cheating. He probably was cheating for the #1 stats in challengers. But #1 stats. McGee picked up this kid #1 stats. He barely knows English. We're just gonna lock it in. Hopefully, we could teach him how to play. Mind you, we got one win on the whole year. So like it's every series we lose, we're losing. We can't go to champ. So it's like Ken. I don't think Ken is the type of person where he can teach 3 people who've never won how to win. I don't think that's his bag, and I don't think. And it's not because he can't, but it's like you don't want to do that. He just won champs. Granted, he was getting cooked. I told him not to play. He wanted to play. He thought he had a chance to do it. He thought his teammates were good playing against him. He was confident, but the bottom tier teams in the league, you're gonna see a difference from you're gonna see a difference, bro. Playing with Shotzi, Pred, and Dashy. You're gonna see a difference playing with Shotzi, Pred, and Dashy than playing with legit every other team in the league besides a couple. Like, as soon as you leave those caliber of players and then you go, whoa, oh shit, these guys don't know. And it's the truth. Even, you know what I'm saying? That just is what it is. There's a huge gap to being a consistent Call of Duty team. And I tried to tell, he basically realized that halfway through, like, once they start choking all the game 5s, you realize, damn, there is a huge gap. These motherfuckers don't really understand all the way what it takes to be consistent and what it takes to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just is what it is. And then he tried, like, I think he had they had a performance coach. He's commented that a performance coach has tried to work with him to try to say what he needs to say in a better, more positive way. And there just hasn't been a big difference. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just the type of person Ken is. He's been doing this shit for 10 years. You're not gonna change the way you talk, because the way you talk to people that know what they're doing, it works. You know what I'm saying? Not this when Pred didn't like the way Ken was talking to him probably when they were getting shit on, but when they were winning, it worked. You know what I'm saying? His the way he approaches it, it works clearly. It's proven fact. So I think just for him, that's why, like I said before, I told him not to play, but him playing with good people, that's also an argument. You can use that against Ken. Damn, he has to play with good people to look good and make his system work. Yeah, he does. When he plays with good,
but he's also that guy, so he gets to team with good people.
He's that guy. He wins, so he gets the team with good people.
This is my argument every single fucking time. It's like, oh, Simp wouldn't do anything about a god roster.
Yeah.
You're right. Simp's not going the fucking. Simp isn't going the Falcons with 3 Saudi Arabians and making them win every single series. He's not. That's facts. But when you're as good at the best players in the world have the best rosters, I don't get the argument. Yeah, Kenny didn't do it with Rocco. Guess what? Because like Don said, he's come from playing with Shotzi, Dashi, and fucking Hugh, Pred, whatever you want to do, to players that haven't been there like that. And Kenny is good, but Kenny ain't the guy that's going to turn him into a superstar roster. It's just not how it works. It's just not. You could put every top player on a different team, and it's not going to change much. But they might win an extra series or something like that because of the firepower that they bring from that one person. But you don't look at a top. It's the same in every single sport. The best players in the world play for their best teams. Like, it's just how it is.
And there's certain people who can bring more out of other people. Like Lamar developed he extended his career by developing a play style, literally sacrificing himself to make their system was flawed, but they somehow won because just the event they won, they got every kill. Like whoever's on the breaking point account, I don't know if that's Steve, but Slasher the same example as Ken. Same thing. Slasher, he needs to play on a team where he can bitch and do the things that he does in his system and not have someone on the team crying, oh, Slasher said I'm stupid today. I don't want to play with this guy anymore. He needs to have a system or a structure like that to where he can do what he needs to do, because Slasher, if you follow his system, right? He couldn't do it on Ravens. If you follow his system, you will probably get more out of your trash team. He's made runs to grand finals with people who you think, damn, Rab might be able to get on and gun them. He might be able to get on and cook D-Box sometimes. You know what I'm saying? No, shout out to D-Box. I'm just joking, but like Slasher's made deep runs with teams, but now he's like in a situation where he has to watch his tongue. He has to not talk to people. You know what I'm saying? He can't do his thing. So I will put Kenny in that same category.
Thanks, Caleb, for the 2 FaZe pentagram. Who says no? He's still an FA. I think he's retired technically, but
you always come back if you get the offer.
Exactly. If the offer's there, we're coming back. Pentagram's got to compete with Exceed though for that FaZe spot, so it's gonna be an uphill battle for him. But we do. Okay, so basically, Kenny tweeted this, and then Beans, he came out with a statement. He says, imagine you're a rookie joining the league. So basically he's talking about Hixie here, right? So Hixie comes in last year, or a couple of years ago, MW2, wins his first event with Toronto, obviously gets into a good situation. Hixie's on the academy, Scrap rates him, having played with him in challenges. They need a replacement. They bring in Hixie, and he did a great job. They had lots of talent on that team, on that roster. Hixie filled the gap. He did what was necessary. I actually think Hixie's LAN performances that season were pretty underrated. Like, he was actually better on LAN than he was online. Did the job for the team, wins his first event, makes the grand finals at champs on that team, and then doesn't get picked up the next year. And I was kind of wondering this today, right? Like, okay, Hixie's not the most talented player you're ever going to see, but could he have played in a different way to drop better numbers? And if he'd have done so, maybe Toronto end up getting 4th, maybe they get 3rd, maybe they don't make the finals, maybe they don't win. But all of a sudden, Hixie's come out of nowhere and he's dropping a 1.0 on a team that's getting top 3, top 4. People are like, damn, this guy, he might be a good fit. But all of a sudden, you're dropping 0.85s on a team that's winning, and you're still not getting signed. So Beans' point is that the Lion Man cards are too important. I think Lion Man should be excommunicated for the scene. He's ruined the scene. The juicy Lion Man cards are too much. But yeah, anyway, Beans is in the replies. Kenny's in the replies. And Ken kind of clarified and said, look, you may stay in the league playing to keep your spot, but you'll never make more money or win. So I see it from both sides on this one.
I mean, listen,
ahead,
I knew this shit was choked when Classic, what was it, Methods came in my DMs one day, Black Ops 4. He comes in the DMs and goes, Trey, who should I pick up? Be honest, don't be biased. Ben Bance or Classic? Of course I'm gonna go Ben Bance. That's my guy, and I think he's better than Classic. I did think he was better than Classic that year. Methods replies with a Lion Man card of Ben Bance.
Bro, come on, bro.
And that's how I knew we were choked, man. That's how I knew we were going. Dark times ahead. Dark times ahead.
Bruh.
And Lion Man weren't even doing cool colored cards then either. These were just basic blanks. Yeah, now you see something. Now you see something that looks like Rainbow Road. That's 100. That's a 100K player right there.
We got a 99 overall with the green and the purple. No stopping it.
You got top 6, but he's Rainbow Road. Sign him ASAP. Listen, Hixie definitely. It also goes game to game too. You know, like Don said about some of the rosters too. A lot of it's game to game. Like Rancor is a 100K, 150K player right now. Next year he could be a 15K player. You know, that's what happened. That's pretty much like, you know, Hixie was by far one of the best players in his role when he was on Toronto, and then the next year comes around and you got to find a way to adapt, and it might be harder to adapt with certain players that you play with on a team. So, you know, COD's just very cutthroat. That's the issue. You know, it is very cutthroat, and it's also way more cutthroat if you're not American. Just want to put that out there.
That's true as well. Yeah.
Like, you've seen multiple people in NA have a bad year and they still get picked up, but if it's someone else from a different region, you're pushing it close to stay in the league.
Yeah. My comments on this, I mean, I don't have a problem with none of these people, Beans, Ken, or Hixie. I just don't like the Hixie example because I'm just saying, like, if he was so godlike and he deserved, why did they drop him? I feel like that is what made everyone else think you're at, like, you just won an event and got second, and your teammates, no one wants to play with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how are we going to blame the whole league? How are we going to blame the whole league when if someone gets dropped after first and second, it's not like, oh, Clayster got dropped. It went to 4v4. Like, if you get dropped in those situations, like, you're going to get what the fuck? Why did they drop Hixie? Oh, shit. Oh, okay. Maybe he's ass. Because he won and got dropped. So I blame more of the team than anything. Like, I don't know. And then the Lion Man cards, like, Beans, I saw Beans' card.
91.
Doesn't Beans have like a 91? I don't even know how the ratings don't be making no sense to me. And then, because, like, in MW2, my shit, when I was looking at it the other day, it was like an 89, and I didn't get picked up, and I had really good numbers. I think my numbers were better than Beans', but Beans' rating is higher, and I don't think Beans is going to get picked up. So it's his Lion Man. If the Lion Man cards are like so impactful, like, why didn't I get picked up? I had an 89, bro. Where's my fucking spot? Where is Beans' spot if he's got a 91? You know what I'm saying? So I was just confused about the convo. Like, I don't know. I was very confused about the convo. I'm not gonna lie. Also, like, when I view Beans, I don't know how, like, the EU people view him, Trey, so you can comment on this, but, like, is he like some winner ass, like, player? Like, does he always play for the win? Because I don't know. It looked harder for Toronto when he was playing. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just thought the whole situation was just looking weird. Like, I don't know. I was just like, for sure.
I mean, I rate Beans highly. Like I said, I think the only thing that switched up was, like, halfway through the year. I feel like if he did get to play, if he didn't get turned down at the border, I feel like there would have been people would be looking at Beans a lot different if that happened.
That's true. That is true. He did get hold out of his control. That is true.
And then
I will give you that.
And then obviously like he has to deal with everyone saying like, you know, oh, they should have dropped him for Hercules anyway. Like that's what they did. Listen, I rate Beans highly.
Okay.
I think he'll be fire on a different spot. The only thing, like I said it before, I just don't think he should have went to EWC.
Bro, he had a 59.
That's my only thing.
I'm looking at it now. What?
He had the 59 at the World Cup.
Yeah.
But listen, that's what happens when you join a team in challenges and you pick up another mania. I got told he could have been. I got told he could have been on a CDL spot, but something fell through because obviously you couldn't make more than 2 changes. And yeah, if I was Beans, I just wouldn't have went to EWC. That's just what I wouldn't have done.
Yeah, I'm not gonna judge him off this event. I was just judging off of how they played. Like I don't know.
I mean, I also like, you know, Lion Man does these for fun. If like obviously people know there's no bias, but like the numbers, sometimes they don't make sense in people's minds. But you got to remember it's based on, you know, you get plus minus overall for where you place. Maybe the overalls could be tweaked a little bit, where if you have a bad placement, you get docked a bit more on your overall. But majority of it's just all about how effective you are on the map, not about, you know, where you're placing.
Yeah, I think there's a convo to have on like the way that we do these cards statistically, because I think there was some card I saw, like someone was dropping like 0.7s, but because they were playing with pace, they still had like an 80. Do you know what I mean? But it's like if you've got a 0.7 in control, I don't really care what your damage is or your kills per 10. Like that, because we used to put like deaths per 10 on the control. Like if you're just dying over and over again in control, your rating for control should be shit. Like if your KD in control is bad and your damage per 10 is high, then that's probably bad. You're probably playing too fast. You're probably dying too much. But
I don't give a fuck about your damage. I really don't care about your damage. Like damage is not an increase to me whatsoever. Wow, you've been shooting people. Finish your fucking dinner. How about that? If you die 30 times done, but you've got enough damage to kill 25 people, you just haven't won a fucking gunfight, have you?
So like Sib's numbers in control, right? Like Sib's got a 0.98 control KD. But he's 95 rated kills per 10, 97 rated damage per 10. Like he's pushing pace and control, but he's not getting ticks in the hill. But he's actually dying more than he's getting kills. So like he should not be considered a 96 overall for control with those numbers. Like that should be, you know what I'm saying? That's like my gripe. Like I tell people in the videos how they're calculated. I still don't, you know, necessarily agree with the way that it's come up. Like I think KD. Because KD is totally irrelevant to these cards. Like the KD is irrelevant, and on some level it should be. But like, I don't think for certain, like in Search, damage per round should not be more relevant than KD. Like KD in Search is actually an important stat.
It's way more important. Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I think, you know, we're gonna think about it for next season. Steve's talking about it in the chat about how we can make these card ratings a bit better. People got annoyed about Hook being a 78 or whatever he was. So, you know, we're working on it. We're working on it, stream.
I try explaining to people, like, everyone knows he's not a 78 rated player. But it's just, it's all it is maths. That's literally all it is.
It's biased on, like, what maps teams like to play, right? Like, if you like to play the slow maps, then all of us, like, if you play the AR maps, all of a sudden your damage per 10 is looking bad compared to people who play the fast maps. It's not because you're ass and they're good. They just have a different map pool to you do. So, anyway, that's a point on that. Yeah, Infinity says, do you think Control will be replaced next year? I know I mentioned that on the show yesterday. I wasn't saying it with any intel or anything. I'm just like, it was just a theory that
I did next year. I did hear about it. That
I'm sure they're talking about it. Yeah,
I did hear that Control wasn't going to be a thing next year, but
there you go.
That could also change. Happy. That could also change too. You know, because I also heard like 2 years ago that control is the third game mode of the CDL, so like that could change as well.
Steve says we're going to control for pacing relative to the map set for next season. So hell yeah, we will. Next year's cards, the ratings are going to be totally 100% accurate, and nobody will be able to dispute them. Maybe the end of the Scrappy 99. And speaking of Scrappy, this was the big news story of the week in many respects. That Falcons decided to awaken from their slumber and start slinging around the ball sack onto the table with all the cash inside, because they were putting down haymakers, and the big story was that they were trying to go out there and get scrap. Now, Ghost of Hope said, let me drop a little bit of intel here for the stream. Ghost of Hope said the initial offer for scrap was 900 big ones, 900k. They then upped the offer to 2 million. That was the word on the street. That was the rumor, that they wanted to pay Thieves 2 mil just to buy scrap, not even to pay him a salary. Now, it's not, I don't think it's possible to turn down a $2 million offer for scrap, because he doesn't want to sign an extension scrap, and that's fair enough, because he might get a better offer next year from Falcons or maybe from OpTic, who knows what happens. And if you got $2 million coming in for scrap, you kind of have to sell him. My understanding is that the offer from Falcons was not up there with $2 million, right? Like if they'd have offered 2 million, Nature would have snapped their arm off and taken it. My understanding is that the offer was sub 7 figures, and Nature and Thieves, they wanted about 7 figure. They wanted about $1 million to make it work. And Falcons didn't want to stretch to that number. So yeah, they were offering a lot of money. Thieves wanted even more. If it was 2 million, I think they would have gone for it. Unless Nature is slapping the Falcons tax on everyone.
Where the fuck are we getting these numbers from, by the way? We just fucking headbutt the keyboard and hope it works. Like $2 million. Like, we just think we're just dashing about fucking 2
mil.
What
I found funny was like, it went from 900k up to 2 mil. Like straight.
Yeah, like not like...
Didn't even try to work up.
Yeah, no.
Like, 2 mil.
That's just how much money they've got, Don. 900k, nah, it needs to be a little bit 2 mil. Ah, man, cool.
If I'm Nature and I'm hearing 900k to 2 mil, I'm like, nah, 2 mil ain't cool. And they're like, 3, 10.
10, yeah, 10? 10.
Can we do 11?
Like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah, people say Modesty was 2.5 mil, so they weren't going to pay 2 mil for Scrap, who's only got 1 year left on his deal anyway.
well, listen, we've also got to talk about in retrospect to the fucking esport we're playing too. Like, you're not making any money back on Scrap buying him for 2 mil.
No.
Like, you could throw Scrap on a fucking press run for 4 years and you're still not getting back even anywhere near that.
With all due respect, bro, the only player worth anything is Shotzi or Scumpy, and Scumpy's retired. I think once we're past a milli, we should not even, unless they start. Oh, wait, Scrap starts with an S. I was gonna say unless they start with an S. Scrap, I get Scrap about 200k max. I'll buy it for 200. That's a major win. You gonna guarantee me one major win? You're not guaranteeing me the ring. Why the fuck I'm gonna pay 2 milli?
Listen,
that's before you pay his salary.
The only player the only player that's worth $1 million right now in the league is Shotzi.
Shotzi.
That's just that,
100%.
and even that is just
I'm not paying
crazy.
that.
Yeah, I'm just not paying $1 million. Like, I'm just not like everything you get with Shotzi. That's what makes him $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Content, streams, Shotzi being Shotzi. You know. But even then, I'm not offering $1 million for him. No offense, and like if I had $1 million, I'm gonna spend it somewhere else. But you know, I respect. I'm gonna get some houses for you, Antsy. I'm on the same wavelength as you. We go and get properties.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, you can put any. You guys can put Simp and Hydra.
Fuck no.
Like,
Hell no,
listen,
they're not worth $1 million.
Shotzi is the only player in the league worth $1 million because he has a brand behind him. That's literally it.
What the hell?
Falcons do got the money to spend, but maybe not quite as much as we think. At least not yet. Because there was a point we were thinking, damn, they're gonna get Cell, they're gonna get Scrap, they're gonna bring in a BZ. they're going to go all out. But right now, it doesn't necessarily seem like that's true. I think we also got a comment on the fact that it looks like Celium is going to be going there. So Celium to the Falcons. Apparently, it's pretty much locked in at this point. Going to join Pred on that team. Going to presumably join Exnid on that team. Play with Clay or play underneath Clay. Celium was wanted by the Thieves. We know that to be true. That didn't happen in the end. He was an unrestricted free agent. Thieves presumably couldn't offer him the same salary that Falcons were offering him, but it was an option for him to go to Thieves. I know there's been some rumors about, like, people have been throwing it around, because Scrappy came out with that clip in the midweek and he said how the girlfriends are fucking everything up, right? So people have put 2 and 2 together and they're saying, maybe Cell didn't want to go because he used to be dating Jensels a few years back. Now she's with Hydra. Would that have complicated things? Maybe. I'm not going to rule it out entirely. And if Falcons come along and offer double the money, then it's obviously it's tough to say no. But, you look back on these teams now, based on what we're going to look at in a second, and I'm like, well, who's got the better chance to win? I think it's pretty clear where you want to be.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate situation. I mean, I think with the situation being the situation, like Hydra and Cell, like that, and just the whole I really wish for the competition aspect that the girlfriends had nothing to do with this shit. I really, truly wish that, but unfortunately they do. I think it worked out for both of them. MC, go get your bag. I still think he's one of the greatest ARs of all time. He's a fucking amazing player. People, I don't know. People aren't valuing him as high right now, but I feel like he's insane. Also think it's smart if he got so significant amount more money, because Scrap and Hydra are probably going to leave next year. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to sign the Thieves and then next year your 2 best players leave or your 2 other superstars leave. You know what I'm saying?
Especially if Falcons, like, year on year, they might just spend more money. Like, they could, you know what I'm saying? Especially if they don't have the greatest season, they might say next year, you know what, Scrap, we're going to give Nature a mil to buy you out. We'll just give that you in salary. Come, bless up. Come play for the boys.
I don't think it'll work out for Cell. I also like the Thieves team a lot. We'll get to that at some point, but yeah. I think Cell's in a good spot.
That was a great spot.
Yeah, he's in a fantastic spot.
He's making serious money. That's what I mean.
I also think it's his team. It's his team. It should be his team at this point, right?
That's interesting.
Is it Pred's team still, or is it?
I think it's MC's team.
I mean,
it's still
depends how much money they get.
Listen,
if Pred's on if Cell's on the same money as Pred, it depends who's on the more money. Who's got a bigger contract?
Listen, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm keep it real with you. MC should be the highest paid player in the league. Right now.
Now that he's on the Falcons.
I'm not saying like he should be the highest paid player in the league because that's what he brings. Like on the Falcons.
On the Falcons, he should.
Unreleased, no buyout, no nothing. He's got to be the highest paid player in the league. Got to be.
Yeah, he should.
Ronnie said it's definitely close, whatever they offered him. I'm thinking it's, I don't know. Benjay was guessing 400 to 500. So
it's gotta be 5, bro.
I'm guessing more than that.
It's gotta be at least 5, bro.
I'm guessing 5, 6. I'm guessing 5 or 6, maybe even 650.
Oh, what was your guys' salary when you were on New York?
What was
like how much something? A month? When you're in New York, Trey?
A month?
Well, I'm just trying to compare.
I was making like 19 a month.
Okay.
Yeah,
triple that up. You got Sally.
Trey were getting around the same, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think our whole team was getting
7. Oh my god! I mean, I wonder. Like, if Cell was smart, which he probably was, he was battling. He was saying to Thieves, "How much can you pay me?" He was going back to Falcons and saying, "Like, I'm going to need you to double that to go and play with Exnid respectfully." So I'd be good. And it works.
Hey, Don, we thought we were making bread back then, but like motherfuckers be pulling up motherfuckers making like
triple. I respect it, bro.
Played in the we were. The Saudis are here now.
They making that triple that age. Whew.
I mean, what was that? What was it?
Them boys are cooling.
PJ with the 5, where you look it up, Trey, says, thanks to the £5 super chat. That's great British pound sterling, baby. Love from Scotland. Do you think it pays the org to buy these players and bring eyes to and building around the EWC and running events? I think it's all part of the kind of general vision. But also Falcons just want to be, like, they've got the money to spend. They want to be a competitive team. Like, as far as they're concerned, what's the point paying no money and just being in the league? Like, they're trying to show that the Saudi Arabia and the teams over there are competing on the world stage. It's all part of the game that's being played. So
yeah,
obviously they're gonna pay the money for the big players.
Yeah, I was making 19 a month on New York.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah.
And then I went from 19 a month to like the minimum, like just because I had to join London and they were already getting fined by the league for overpaying players. So
the question is really, Cell's going to this team. Looks like Exnid's going to stay. What do we think about that? Top level. Cell, Pred, because look, the other AR we don't yet know. There's been some links to Ghosty. There's been some links to Sib. It's probably going to be one of those two. You can argue for both. You can say, all right, Sib brings a bit more slaying. We've got chemistry with Pred. You can argue that they need Ghosty's comms. You could argue that if Exnid isn't going to do much slaying, you might need Sib to get a few more kills on the map. There's a few ways to look at it. But yeah, Exnid, he's got his work cut out, you know. He's got his work cut out to do the objective work that's going to be necessary for that team. Like, he is going to be slided in first, life after life. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, Exnid, listen, my boy.
Godspeed.
You best get some more controllers because you're going to be sprinting, my boy. You're going to be running.
Hopefully, I mean... Oh, go ahead. My bad.
I was going to say, it's fine. You get to play with literal, like, goats. Like, learn from it. I mean, I don't know how to I don't know how he's going to understand Cell, but...
Yeah.
We're gonna get
that clip was funny. I think of this team like realistically, bro. With MC and Pred, we need two players around them that they're familiar with. I feel like Exnid is on a ticking time bomb. He's the odd man out. Just like when I joined Thieves in Cold War, I knew as soon as something goes wrong, I'm gone.
Just like me on New York.
Yeah, as soon as something goes wrong, Trey's gone. You know, it's a bad situation to be in. Realistically, Exnid's gone. As soon as they get the opportunity.
I'm on the phone with agent. He's like, yo, Trey, you sure you've got a London offer here? A bit more salary? I'm like, yeah, man, I need to do this. And he goes, hey, listen, I'm just letting you know if shit goes wrong, you're the first to go. I'm like, I know. Don't worry about it. A couple months later.
Gone.
Sayonara.
So it is tough for Exnid. I think what I'll say on Exnid is I actually rate his mentality. I think he'd be a good teammate. The issue that I see with him is, let's say Exnid was dropped from Falcons. Is he getting a spot somewhere else?
No.
The answer is probably no. So with that in mind, like, kind of, you know, it puts a lot of pressure on him, but also this is what he's there for, you know. And look, if they wanted to go out and get a Beezy, they probably could, you know. Could they outbid Thieves for a Beezy? Presumably they could, but they're not going to do so. The Exnid Pred duo, they like it. They think it's going to be effective. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Exnid's definitely got his work cut out next season. But I think Cell's made a pretty good choice. People obviously are going to speculate what Pred's on, what Cell's going to be on, what their other AR's going to be on, whoever they do sign. We'll get to that in due course, because there's obviously a flip side of this, and that is that with Celium going to Falcons, we think, Thieves, they needed another AR. They were going to get rid of Ghosty. They could have begged Ghosty to come back, but they've decided not to do that, and the latest rumor is that it's going to be Thieves, Kenny making the glorious return. Now, I've seen a lot of takes about this, if this is the team that they form. The rumor is that, well, they've literally dropped Envoy. He's now unrestricted free agent. I will just quickly comment on that. Envoy being a UFA, like, dropped on his neck. No buyout, nothing. Like, they just don't want this guy anymore. Like, he's just totally gone. Which is Was that surprising to you, Trey? Because he was under contract, right? Like I thought they could have just left him as like to try and get a buyout for him, and especially because Gentlemate's maybe going to pick him up, you'd have thought they could have spent some money to buy him out. So I was a bit confused by this whole sequence. Really, they drop Ghosty, then they don't get sales, so you think they might have to bring him back, and then they get rid of Envoy. Obviously, he's had a couple of stints on Thieves. Both of his stints on Thieves have been successful, but now he's out of there.
I mean, you know, maybe sometimes you can offer a little deal, you know. You know the risks that comes when you're restricted. You know, it means that a team has to buy you out, which could then lower your salary for next year because they've had to buy you out. It's like a favor to favor type thing. I'm not saying that's what happened, but maybe Thieves said to him like, "Listen, we'll let you go. We you know, but we won't pay you your leftover salary." You know, I think it's like 2 months or something like that. Maybe they said like, yeah, you know, we'll let you go unrestricted, but we're not going to pay you the rest of the months. Which the player to Ghosty and Envoy, they're probably sat there thinking, that's a good deal because they can just make it back on their next contract because they're going to get picked up. They're unbelievable this shit. So.
That does make some sense. I'll just quickly clarify because I saw this tweet from Envoy's father, and he said you don't even know the half of it with this day, and I presume this was to do with like, you know, there was shit going down at Thieves, you know, like it was he's gonna stay, he's gonna go, and like there was a few pieces, but it seems like they actually had a loss in the family, so that's sad to hear about. Hopefully, my consolation on that one. I wasn't, I wasn't sure what this tweet meant at the time. So that's sad to hear about, but it, you know, maybe it makes sense, right? Envoy just became UFA. It makes sense to both parties, but you'd have thought maybe to get, if they are going to go out and get a BZ, then it's just weird how it's turned around because Thieves all of a sudden, it looked like they didn't have any money. Ronnie was telling us that they needed to sell down Ghosty in order to get a player in, which maybe is still true. Then they get offered a load of money for scrap. They say no, and all of a sudden they're picking up Kenny. And they're trying to buy a Beezy out of his FaZe contract, which also can't be cheap. But if they sell Ghosty somewhere, then obviously there's a good opportunity. So, look, if that is the team, I think this is a disgusting ass team, bro. I think this is an insane team, like actually insane team. I like the team last year, but this team on paper is so goddamn good for what like that team needed. I'm sure, like, Don, you'll have some thoughts on this, but even bringing in a Beezy alongside Hydra, it's like, goddamn, that duo, if they play the game in the right way, it would be absolutely menacing on the map.
Yep.
And I want to hear no one say no shit about Kenny, because look who wants to team with him.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, but people on Reddit are going to keep saying, "Oh, Kenny with a .3 in his name or whatever." Like,
yeah, but like Kenny's still getting these goddamn teams with these players. You know, Kenny's not buying his way into these spots. These motherfuckers want to play with him.
Yeah.
And Kenny wants to play with them because,
of course,
they ain't young guns playing for KD.
I'm honestly surprised that this situation like came up for him, just because like I understand. Let me just be realistic here, because I've been around in both situations. Like I remember when Ken got picked up on OpTic, I was mind blown. Like I was in LA and he was just like, "Yo, I'm joining OpTic." I'm like, "What the hell, for real?" Because in my eyes, in the Modern Warfare 2 season, Kenny played like shit. Like me and him were talking about it. We were both competing at the time. When I would check in, I'd be like, "Ken, you kind of, if you didn't play like shit, you probably would have won this tournament." He's like, "Yeah, I did play like shit." So he was playing like shit, and he still got on OpTic. So that just shows you how much people respect him. And then even this year, right? He's playing like super duper shit. A lot of times he's playing like shit. Joined Rocker, play a little bit better, still kind of mid, and he still got an opportunity. So I know people say PR protection, but like we have acknowledged that he played like shit. He's acknowledged that he played like shit. The other players acknowledge that he played like shit, and they still want to play with him. No one put a gun to the back of Thieves' head and said, "Y'all have to pick up Kenny."
Scrap and Hydra literally made him drop a .3 this year. They were shitting on him that bad, and they still want to play with him.
Yes, yes. So from the perspective of like the fans, I understand like, damn, this guy played like shit and he got a spot. But that's just the unfair situation. But it's unfair because he earned that right. You know what I'm saying? He earned that right by winning. And clearly, I'll get into my opinions on the team. Clearly, this team is valuing champs. The people that want to play with Kenny are valuing Kenny at $1 million tournaments. Me personally, I think this team might be worse than the last year's team throughout the regular season. But you know what I will guarantee? I guarantee with Kenny on this team, they not getting eighth at champs. I will bet all the money I have. It's not much. You know what I'm saying? But I'll bet they're not getting dead last at champs. They're not gonna break down at the most important moments in the season. They might be worse. They might not win 2 events. Because I genuinely think Ghosty and Envoy did like their system worked. They won. They were a dominant team throughout the year. They just broke down. They literally broke the fuck down. I think with a BZ and Ken, obviously a BZ and Hydra, I think that's an even better sub duo. Because Envoy is a flanker. Even though I think Envoy was great, he's a flanker. His natural play style. But this year he was just in the fucking hill. This new team, if things go right by the end of the year, these guys will be fighting for the ring. They might only win 1 tournament this year. But they will be better at champs for sure. For sure. So I think that's their mind. That's their thought process making the change. They're like, Ken is always good at champs. How many grand finals has he made? 4 or 5? We break the fuck down at champs. Let's get this guy so we don't break the fuck down at champs.
Thanks, Nathan, as well, for the $2 US. To think Kenny deserves a spot over Ghosty, faded. Well, you know, the thing is with Ghosty, it could be outside of the game stuff too, inside of the game stuff. Like, I think Ghosty's also solid, but look, I'll just say it. OpTic, they dropped Ghosty after MW2 for Kenny, and they won champs. So Thieves are trying to do the same gimmick. Drop Ghosty, pick up Kenny, and then win champs. That's the strategy, Trey.
Yeah, I mean, like Don said, Kenny's needed for the bigger moments. You think Kenny cares about some regular? No, I don't care about that. Give him champs. Give him champs to do the rest. We don't. Obviously he cares, but you know, Kenny's there for the big game moments, and he couldn't do that. He couldn't do that with his kill whore young guns. Now he's got the squad. I really like this team. Like I do. I like it a lot.
Like I said, I understand people being surprised. How did Kenny go on the team? He's talking to me every day. I'm hearing what's going on in the teams he's finna form. I'm like, okay, it makes sense for him to get on this team. Oh shit, you getting on Thieves? Okay, let's get it. That was my, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, you might be able to get on this. There's a rumor this day. You might be able to get on this shit. That's fire. Now you get to play with some elite ass motherfuckers. They getting you on. And then I was also confused because I remember when he told me he was getting on OpTic. I'm like, damn, you was just getting shit on all year. You're getting on OpTic? Shit, good for you. Then someone in the chat said he hasn't been top 15 since Vanguard. Kenny was gross. What was he in the breaking point? Top 20 on Modern Warfare 3. Can you find that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Easy Mac will know.
What the fuck? He was gross at Modern Warfare 3. He was gross.
I think the other thing as well, shout out us Carlos Line for the 5, Kenny for Ghosty, I'd make that deal, damn good deal, not thinking twice. The way that I look at it is like, okay, you can't get any of the OpTic guys. Dashy's off the cards. Mercules is off the cards. What other AR would you prefer than Kenny in that spot? Because I don't know if there's like, and I'm taking Kenny over Celium in that role. Like I rate Celium, but in terms of what the team needs, like I'm taking Kenny. I know they wanted Celium was their first choice, but like, I don't know, maybe that's a hot take, but you got Scrap and Hydra on your team, man. You don't. Yeah. I don't care. Kenny can be a top 25 player. I don't care if he does what the team needs. It doesn't fucking matter. Like it actually just doesn't matter when you have this level of talent on your team. You like if you change out Celium for Kenny in this team of 4, they get worse. This is a better team of 4 composition with Kenny. Yeah. People saying a boozer over Kenny, but like respectfully, a boozer Yeah, I rate
He can't win
Abuza,
a map.
right?
He can't
But,
win a map in finals.
But win a map in finals, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. A Scrap and Hydra turning up to Champs 2026 with confidence they're gonna win with Abuza there. Maybe if they've dominated the regular season, yeah. But Scrap's trying to get a ring. Kenny's won it twice. Like, that is gonna matter, as you said, Don. That matters a lot for their mindset going into Champs. Like, do they want to pick up a player who's come second 4 times?
That is clearly the thought process they had when offering Ken. Hey, Kenny is in the LA Thieves Hall of Fame, by the way. The only 2 COD players is him and Octane. He's also the Shotzi or the Scump of LA Thieves. Let's also not forget that his history with the organization. He has literally carried this organization on his fucking back. And they broke down at Champs. That's all they want to do is win Champs. This guy's in his MVP speech like, fuck the MVP. We got 8th at Champs. You know what I'm saying? That's clearly their mindset. They don't give a damn. At Champs, now, someone donated. Shout out for the donation, $2. Kenny was good in big moments. He wasn't in no big moments this year. You know why? Because he was fucking shit and his team was shit all year. That doesn't mean he doesn't know how to perform.
Did he ice up that 1v2 against Envoy and the boys on that game 5 round 11? He iced up the 1v2.
Yeah, he iced up the
1v2.
He iced up the 1v2. But he wasn't realistically in winners finals. He wasn't in losers finals. He wasn't in grand finals. His fucking team was shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what it is. That doesn't matter. Like, oh, he wasn't in big moments. No one gives a damn. Clearly, no, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we think. They offered him. They offered him. That's the guy they want. They could have got. They maybe could have got a Boozer or somebody else. That's the guy they want. And this team is gonna be gross. At least at the end game tournaments, they might be inconsistent. I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny and Abizi throw up the bullshit. Major 1. Damn, I gotta learn how to play with Killhorns. Damn, they might have to get Scrap and Hydra to stop Killhorn. They gonna have to figure out how to make it work. This guy Hydra, I was just, when we were doing like the voting and stuff, this guy, if you just look at it, the numbers, this guy is a Killhorn. His numbers shows that he's not in the hill, he's not on the control point. He's the best Killhorn of all time. So maybe to make the team work at Champs, Kenny and Abizi, they might get shit on and have to be like, all right, listen, this Hydra, you Killhorn so hard, you not finna do this all year. Or Scrap, you Killhorn right here, you not finna do this the whole time. They're gonna have to, I don't think it's just gonna click from day one and they're just godlike, but at Champs time, towards the end of the year, they're gonna figure it out and they're gonna be gross. That's what I think.
I think there's a lot of pressure on Abizi here. That's my opinion, because Abizi, honestly, Tiny Terror, what a player, right? But the last few years, his objective stats, Abizi, have like weakened. Like, Sims had to do more objective work over the last few years because Abizi's been doing less over the last few years in Hardpoint, and I think it's affected FaZe. And he's obviously going to have to step that up. Like, Envoy and Ghosty were basically our 2 winners of Objective Player of the Year yesterday because they were doing all the work, right? And Kenny will be okay to do that, but I think Abizi's going to be... He's probably the best option they can get, but also I think he's going to have to do a fair bit of adaptation for how he plays with these guys. And it may be true for Scrap and Hydra as well. But
I think the whole team.
Yeah.
You can't with Hydra, okay, respectfully. I think the team last year was gross, but like Hydra cannot have 30 seconds in the hill time every game to win, make the team consistent. Because if you're doing that, you're forcing other people on your team to get in the hill and probably in situations where they should probably go play the cut. If you're just, because I used to average 20 seconds. Sometimes you would fuck your team over. Even if you're producing, like his production is fucking, he's getting the most, he literally led the league in getting kills per game. But then it doesn't work. Their whole team's gonna have to adjust. I think Kenny's gonna have to adjust. I think Scrappy's gonna have to get in the hill more, and he probably did this year. I think the whole team, they're gonna have to figure out how to play with each other. And it shouldn't be that hard. I think they all respect Ken and they'll listen to Ken. I think Abizi also, I mean, with the Abizi thing, I heard a couple things about the FaZe thing. I think they were just disagreeing on how to play. like period. So I'm not gonna judge a BZ not doing objective work that hard just because I think they were just completely like all on different pages. I think that whole team was in shambles and they're all on different pages. I think a BZ is probably one of the easiest people to play with in Call of Duty history. Besides like him and fucking Shotzi. This guy, I play Ace with a BZ, I'm baiting him every life. You know what I'm saying? So I think a BZ will fit right in, and just the team, they're just gonna have to figure it out, man. Work with the coaches, go hard, prepare, and
I think they're going to be really good. Like, I don't see this team lasting more than like a year and a half. Like, I feel like it's next season, the year after. I think, you know, things could obviously change, what the Falcons do, what happens with OpTic and everything. But I think this year they're going to be really strong. I'm just going to rattle off a load of super chats because thanks for all the support. We'll get to PJs in a second. Jose says, what top 4 team makes at least the finals next year? We'll get into that because we've got a few more teams to discuss. Thanks for the super chat. There was also PJ says, can I ask you for your 3 dream teams for BO7? I will come to that in a second. Any word on Kismet? Where would he fit in? Some rumors about Kiz because some people wanted him to go to Thieves. I personally think I'm not surprised that Kismet isn't in these top end conversations. I think like because he was the best player on a terrible team, he's getting a little bit, I don't want to say overrated, but I think people are gassing him a bit too much. Like, he was not going to get on a top 4 team, realistically. I think there's an option for Kismet, in my eyes. Let's say Falcons want to replace Xnid. That's somewhere where Kismet would make sense to me as a player. So I don't know where he's going to go now, but that's something I would think about. Volty with the 2 Great British Pound Sterling says, reckon Falcons win a major. Look, you guys know my take on that. You know my take on that. So, you know, we're going to double down on that one. But yeah, and also PD says, Greer's team was shit. This is on Kenny. Unacceptable to lose at the end of the year on Challengers. Sure, there was a disastrous end to the year for Kenny, but did it matter? Look, at the end of the day, what the fans think doesn't fucking matter. What matters is what the pros think. And if Scrap and Hydra are still picking him up, then they obviously don't care that he lost to Challengers teams at the end of the year.
Mind you, he had offers from not only just them. He could have. There's a lot. The majority of the league wants to play with him. After he had a .3, he called me on the phone. He said, "Dime, you almost home?" I said, "What the hell? What you mean I'm almost home?" I opened up Twitter .3. I say, "What the fuck? I'm finna tell you. You just gotta get a kill." .3, Trey, get a goddamn kill. But that's an anomaly. Like, people are like .3 Kenny. Like, it's funny to troll with that shit. But like, that's happened one time. Like, no one and it's an online match. Like, this shit don't matter, bro.
Third thinker with the 10. Folks disrespect Kenny, don't know ball. They look at KD, think they know COD. I think Kenny will get Hydra and Abiz to work together on the map. Abiz being allergic to OBJ killed FaZe's hard points. Well, you know, we'll see in due course who the ball knowers are and who are the non-ball knowers. But yeah, as I say, we'll get through some of these other questions as we go on because we've got a lot to discuss. Let's talk about the FaZe team because there are rumors that FaZe have locked in the contracts. This guy, Jump Shot France, says that the contracts have been signed. So he reckons this is locked in, signed, sealed, delivered. That FaZe are going to be running it with this team. So Simp is going to stay. Simp did that comment the other day. He said, what did he say? Don't worry about FaZe, I'm him. So Simp's bringing the energy. He reckons whatever team you put around him, he's going to deliver the results. The 04 and Abuza duo has been the question. I think mainly the question here is the fact that they've not gone and got Neptune, right? It makes sense to go and get the guys from Surge, although we did get a super chat, I think, earlier that said your FaZe have struggled on Sundays and making finals and you're picking up players from Surge who are finals bottlers. But like, who else are you going to get, right? How many other winners are there out there? At least they've made finals. It says something. But Abuza, I think, makes a lot of sense. The pros rate him highly, 12th overall in our BP ratings of the year. Obviously, he's got me blocked on Twitter, but like, I'll give credit where it's due. I think he's a solid player and makes sense for this team. But Shotzi's question has been, well, why not get Neptune? Because Shotzi literally said on stream he thinks Neptune's better than all of these guys and more impactful, did the job. They rate 04 highly as well, don't get me wrong. And maybe 04 can be a great compliment to Sib. Like maybe 04 can be the Kismet to Simp's Hydra. You know, maybe that's the duo that we're looking at. But the idea of them not like they could have stacked the talent with Neptune, but for some reason, Trey, that hasn't really happened. Like, people haven't... Neptune wasn't really that high up on the list for a lot of these teams. I find it all rather interesting.
Well, maybe the players just think that, maybe Simp sat there thinking, maybe I don't need Neptune. Maybe I don't need someone like running around like that. Maybe I want like a utility person. I've already had a BZ who was doing Neptune's role anyway. So let me see if I can get someone. Let me see if I work better with someone like an 04. You know what I'm saying? So he's already had a BZ that is like a Neptune, run around, like head bash, get kills, whatever like that. Maybe he's like, yeah, it worked. Maybe I want to try something different though. So that's how I look at it. I don't think it's any shade to Neptune. Neptune's gonna get on a good team regardless. He'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I mean, at least with the 04, I like 04 as a player. I know pretty sure Draws really loves 04, so that might have been like that connection. But I do think Simp, I mean, I understand trying something different, but the only way this is going to work is if Simp plays, if he's been defaulting to the hill. Simp is defaulting to the hill. He's planting the bombs. He's doing OBJ. If he wants to continue to play like how he played this year, this is not going to work, in my opinion. Now, if he plays MVP, top 10 player of all time, he's doing it all. 99 awareness. I used to always spam. He has 99 awareness. If he plays like that, then this team could work. Because now he's just dropping 40 all the time. You know what I'm saying? But like this, I'm just saying, based off what we saw this year, this team has everyone has the right to criticize this team. Based off what we saw this year, from the Simp we saw this year, it's just play style. Like, he's just defaulting to the hill. He's not taking over, dropping bombs. Like, this team looks mid. But compared to the Cell, Abizi, Simp trio, it looks mid. But if they can make it work, I said, if he goes back to playing how I know he can play and just taking the fuck over and roaming and just basically being the kill whore on this team, maybe this team could do something. I also want to see Draws be more comfortable, and just to shoot him some bail. It's hard to play when your team's in shambles. If you're in shambles, it's hard to play. So both of them need to perform better, and then 04 and Abuza, they need to do good and fine. Like, there's a lot of questions on this team, bro. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot. I think Thieves there's a couple of rosters that I would take over them on paper. I don't know if they're the third best roster or fourth. They look, maybe I'm tripping. I might be hating. I don't know what you guys think, but
I like bringing Draws back. I think I would take him in this spot over Ghosty, over Sib, over some of the other options. I like at least keeping a couple of the FaZe guys on board. I think I probably would have considered... Yeah, I think given the options available, I'm not unhappy with what FaZe have done here, especially given maybe the money they had to spend and stuff. Again, it's a funny one, right? Because if you could have brought Kenny along as well, then you probably look to do it. But maybe that's just me hating. So I think given where they are, like it's like it's a team with some upside, but I think I agree with you. There's a lot to prove for a number of these players. I think for the SMGs especially, right? Like it's a big year for Simp to prove that he can do it with someone else, and it's a big year for 04 to prove that like the faith in him is justified over somebody like Neptune, Trey.
Yeah. Listen, we can talk about it all you want. We've all got our opinions on these rosters, but they're preparing for a different game. They're preparing for Black Ops 7. We're judging them off. We know
Yeah,
COD changes. We know COD changes every single year. So maybe they're just like, fuck it, I want to change because maybe next year, like you said, Don, like if it's just as fast paced, yeah, they might not be as good. But imagine it's slower and they've been like, damn, we've hit the lottery.
yeah.
So I also think it's nice that we've actually seen a change of players get to play with Simp and stuff like that, rather than just you see like the top players just keep rotating around. Done, you know what I'm saying?
True.
Like You wouldn't think Abuser would be playing with Simp, but now he is. And that's nice to see because that means Simp's got trust in these people that he's been playing against for so long, or like, you know, he's actually like, oh, I actually think he's really good. Let me give him a shot playing with me. I'm him. So, you know, I fuck with it. I do.
Let me end this poll real quick. But before we get to that, PJ did say in the chat a couple of times, dream teams for BO7. He wants us to build a dream team. Like, you know, money's no object. I'm Al Katzir Esports. I come in and I've got unlimited pockets. Who am I buying? I'm not gonna lie, I might just buy the OpTic team, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still taking all these teams that are being formed, I'm still taking OpTic over all of them. So that's my god squad. Could I make OpTic better? Like maybe I drop Hook for Hydra. Guess that's what I do. I don't know.
I'm just buying out the OpTic team.
A team's me, Hook, Tej, and Capsule.
Damn right, that's a team.
That's my team.
Lock it in.
We're just vibey. We're just big and vibey.
That's some pace for sure.
Yes, pace on the map.
Definitely some pace. For
We're
sure.
just big. We're just big and vibey. That's my squad right there.
I wouldn't drop Hook for Simp personally. Not after the year that they had, but I would.
Listen,
I would drop him for Hydra.
I've had this conversation numerous amount of times. We're not dropping anyone on a hop deck.
Yeah, if Hydra is free, I'd do it. Though. Just saying, Hydra's
You'd pick up anyone. You'd pick up a Boston player if you could. So
that's Snoopy for Fake. D Charlie Oak with the 5. Simp is a roaming slayer, not a hill kitten. Let Simp do what he wants. He has the keys after all. I hope Crowder, whatever they're doing over there, and RJ, obviously, you know, they sit back and they say, you know what, Simp, you're him. You said you were him. So, like, what do you want to do? Yeah, you're him. We'll do what we want. Just the guy says, do you know why the flank is so popular? It has bullshit takes and Benja is so damn annoying and disrespectful and can't take a hit. Anyway, BP is fire. Damn right. Welcome to the Generational Hater Club. Yeah, who do you want? And they got who they wanted. I also like the fact that Draz is still on FaZe. It just fits. Do you know what I mean? Like, Draz should be on FaZe. It's like, it's good a villain story. He looks good in the jersey doing his, you know, stupid pose. So, like, doing the flex. So, like, it works, right? He should be getting into it. Let me close this poll real quick. We got 71% of the chat hit a little vote for Neptune over 04 for this FaZe team. So there you go. We'll see if it proves to be the right or the wrong decision. Let's talk Toronto. So they're getting Real. They're keeping Joe Deceives. They were talking about, oh, we're building around Joe Deceives. There were rumors they were going to go and buy out Abizi. They were going to go and get Kenny and Draz. Like, there was talk about Joe, Abizi, Kenny and Draza. That was like a hypothetical team for some time. But instead, Clinics and Insight, they're back at it again. Now, this hasn't been made official yet, but Clinics did a tweet this afternoon and he said, also, yeah, I'm on the flex next year. So, and Real first reply, happy birthday, brother. So, yeah, shock. You couldn't write it. So it looks like that's what Toronto are doing. Effectively, they're making a one-man move, right? They dropped Beans for Abe at the World Cup. They were pretty good, but they didn't win. And now they're dropping Abe and they're bringing in Real and they're running it back. They obviously liked Clinics on the flex. He was great on the flex for sure, but I don't know, man. I want to see Clinics as a fast.
He tweeted
fast
today.
sub.
He tweeted today. He's running flex.
Yeah, I got the tweet up right here, and PD said in the chat a little while ago, thanks to the 5, did you see Ghost to Hope tweet? The game might be slow because there might be no tax sprint. So, again, if the game's a bit slower, maybe some of the faster pace, like the really talented fast pace SMGs will make the difference. I don't know if I really want Clinics on the flex, but yeah, that's what they're gonna do. It seems that's what they're gonna do.
I mean, fuck it. It's also up to him. Like, if he's confident in running a flex, then you know he's good at it. We're talking about. Listen, I love sub players that turn to flex players. I think they're fire because you get the best of both worlds.
No, they can be so impactful. It's crazy. It's just like you need.
And I think if he done it, I think if he does it from the start, he'll be blessed.
Mm.
You know, not just switching halfway through just because Abe's pulled up. Like,
Yeah, he could figure it out. I think they did the best they could with like other things falling through. The team looked good with Insight at the Cup with Abe, so I don't mind them keeping Insight, and I think they just did the best they could with things falling through. Like, I definitely think they wanted the other team with BZ and Draws and shit like that. But for what happened, I still think this team is solid. Joe, I've been gassing Joe all year, bro. Joe is fucking gross. I think Kleenex is gross. I think Real is gross. Inside, he could just camp. So they're chilling. I think this team is solid. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, people are gonna say Insight's got dirt on the league. Trey, what do you think about that?
I think he's won every single year apart from last year, and he had a few top threes. I think we're very critical on him because he is like a slower AR. I think if he does speed up with the teams that he has, I think they'll see more success, and I think he knows that too. That's why you saw it at EWC. You saw him play with a bit more pizzazz. You saw him play with a bit more speed, and you saw a real good player there.
Yep.
I think it's just like sometimes it's uncomfortable to change, and I think Kleenex running a flex actually helped him because that's his duo. You know, they trust each other. They've been teaming together for so long. So maybe Insight is like, whoa, Toby ain't gonna be angry if I do some dumb shit. Let me just sprint around with him and see what I can do. And you saw how good he was. So, you know, I've been pretty skeptical on Insight because of his play style with the teams that he's had. But I think we got to show some respect. He had a very good EWC, and you know, obviously it's not an issue because Joe Deceives wants to team with him. So it's not like they're forcing him to.
I actually really like this team. Go on.
One last thing is like whenever we see Insight play fast, he's good. It just he just doesn't.
He was running a sub against some teams. Like you would pull out a sub. Like
and he plays good. It's just when he plays slow, we're just like, what are you doing? We've seen you play at a decent pace before and have success. And then another thing is, I think it's going to be really hard for Toronto to get like players like a BZ, Kenny, Draza, all those big name players, just because these people have houses and their whole life is here, and then they're gonna move to Toronto and get hit with like, I'm pretty sure the tax is worse than living in like LA or New York. Like
it's
LA or New York was like,
I'm
pretty sure it was like 30% state tax or something crazy. I haven't. Don't quote me on this, chat, but I'm pretty sure the tax is legit insane. So it's like, why am I gonna leave my family, leave everything here, and then go get taxed? Like they're gonna have to overpay so much to like counteract the tax. So it's like if we go there and we don't win, it's like what is going on? You know what I'm saying?
Code Chicken says they might be playing in Texas this year, but I still think it works in terms of like where they get paid.
If Toronto play in this country, it will work out for their organization much better. Much better.
They just love it.
I think they could have got the team they wanted if they weren't in Toronto, personally.
Just quick shout out to B Staples with the 5 before I forget the super chat. I think this FaZe roster gets skill diff by OpTic and 100T like Surge did. Even if they reach a final, should have got net was a layup. I think there's a good argument to say for that. I think my opinion on this Toronto team is, I think it's better than last year's team. Like I prefer this setup to having Beans. I also rate Beans, but I think we saw what happened last year, that you don't get the best version of Insight when Beans is on the team. I think Beans' impact for the 91 lineman card was questionable. Still think he could be a good asset, but I prefer this version of the team. And I think, you know, like people were saying in the chat, Toronto have a pretty high floor, right? Like this team is not bombing out top 12. Like this team will be solid bare minimum. Like I don't expect them to, you know, let's say there's 5-6 events next year, they'll be placing top 6 at like all of them, basically all of them, I would imagine. Like vast majority, they'll be at least top 6, and then you know they've got the upside to make. Like I thought they had a chance this season to maybe win something. Like Major 3, they were really confident they could win, and then obviously the drama happened. But even then, they still had a great result with Merc. They got top 3 anyway. So I think this team is actually one of my kind of favorites, because people are going to like overlook this team, I think, a little bit, because they're going to say, oh, Clinic's an Insight, definition of insanity, running it back again. But I actually think of the teams that we've gone through, this is the team that I feel like you also know the most about this team because you kind of know where they should be. Whereas a team like FaZe, I really have no idea how to pick them. You know. Well, Dusty says they couldn't beat Surge. I mean, that's kind of true, but they did lose Game 5 round 11 to Surge EWC, so it could have gone either way. But yeah, Surge aren't a thing anymore, so don't have to worry about them anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on that, Trey? We've got another team to discuss.
I'm blessed. Like, you know, we're doing well. We just keep it pushing.
Hell
yeah. Everything's subject to change too. You know, we still got a long off season going on, so.
Right.
Yeah, and until these contracts are signed, like, the Falcons can always come along and drop it back, you know. Anything can change. So, talking of the Falcons, Pred, Celium, Xnid, who's their fourth? Rumor has it they're looking at Sib or they're looking at Ghosty. Now, this is a pretty funny article here coming out of Ronnie. Was this the article or was it another one? Maybe it was the Ghosty one. I'll get to that in a second. So, yeah, they're looking at these two options. Who would you pick up to round out the team if you had to pick a fourth for the Falcons? I'm going to ask the chat as well. We've got about 1,300 people in here watching live as well. If you guys are watching and enjoying the show, drop a like on the stream. We would greatly appreciate it. Help out the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff. Falcons fourth. Is it going to be Sib or is it going to be Ghosty? Who else should I throw in? Any other players I should throw in there?
Well, it's just between them two, so.
Yeah, we'll just leave it with those two. Fair enough. See what the chat thinks. I would take...
I don't even know, bro.
I mean, listen, you got to look at it like this. Sib and Pred been good friends for a while. You know, they've got some chemistry there. They've played before. And then, you know, Ghosty, you know, very, very solid player, very, very good player. You know, you can get some highs and lows with Sib, where Ghosty's pretty fucking consistent most of the time. Sib didn't have the greatest year this year, but who do I think is going to complement them better? You know, Ghosty can do some OBJ work, but Sib's faster. That could work better with Cell. So, you know, I don't know who works better because it's all dependent on the game. So we're going to have to find that out too. But yeah, it's a toss-up for me, for sure.
Yeah, it's a toss-up for me too. I mean, the thing that's confusing me, like, would Ghosty not want to join the other? Wasn't the other rumor he's supposed to be on Gentlemates? Like, would he not? Like, if I'm Ghosty, I'm joining that team because I'm pretty sure Gentlemates is also. I know we had some drama with them talking shit about the players, but whatever. They're throwing out the bag. They're actually trying to build a squad to win. Nep, Ghosty, Nasty, and who? I can't remember who the other guy was, but I think that team is good. Oh, Envoy.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Ghosty, I would take that team because you get to stay. I mean, well, Falcons are in Texas too, but you get to basically just, yeah, you get to make a better overall team. Like, I don't know.
I think I agree, but then, you know, the Falcons might, you know, they might be able to offer a little bit of money over there.
I mean, are Falcons going to offer either of these people like a super bag? Like, I feel
Probably
like Falcons.
not a super bag.
I feel like they don't need to offer these guys a bag. Like, I know they
they're
have
not just
going
to waste money. Yeah.
It's just the last players, isn't it?
Yeah, they're the last over. Like, Sib is probably, respectfully, we seen the clip. He's calling up people. Sib is trying to get on this team. Not saying that he will take the minimum, but, like, you don't need to offer Sib $300K. You can offer Sib some whatever the fuck you want to offer him. You can also
if a player wants to join, you can offer him less because he's inclined to join. Whereas if you want him there, you have to, like, throw out the money to force him to come there. Whereas if he's like, I've been hitting up players left, right, rhubarb, like, you know, you have the leverage there, not the player.
Yeah, so if I'm Falcons, I'm gonna get Sib for the low, and then Ghosty can get his bag from Gentle. I'm pretty sure
Gentlemates have some cash to spend.
They throwing out the bag. So if I'm Ghosty, I'm like, I could get a decent, pretty big bag on Gentlemates, and then Ghosty is the superstar of Gentlemates at that point. That's your org. Falcons, respectfully, I'm thinking that's MC or Cell. I mean, MC or Pred. Sorry, MC or Pred.
Yeah, I hear that.
Like you can go to Gentleman's, that's your own team. You still get a huge bag. Like I don't see why Ghosty would want to really join the Falcons. Unless the money is that different.
Yeah. The team can make more sense with Sib to me. Nova says about does Ghosty's outer game issues come into play. I don't really know like if the outer game issues are real anymore or they apply so much, but I wouldn't say it's outer game issues with Ghosty in this team. I would just say like from a cultural perspective, I can just see it being fireworks behind the scenes. If it's like Ghosty and Pred, I feel like they would clash. It's just my feeling about it, but we'll see what they decide to do. I think they're going to go for Sib. Whether that's the right decision or not, time will tell. I think they're going to go for Sib. Going to end the poll. The chat says 53%, 54% to Sib. So competitive is a big debate. I will fast forward to that Ghosty article actually, because this article Ronnie did earlier this evening, Gentlemates are closing in on a top roster. So they looked at Draza, they looked at Joe Deceives, they looked at Abeezy, but they couldn't stick the land on any of those moves. So now they're looking at Ghosty as their top target. Now, this is a pretty funny sentence. While the Vegas Falcons have also shown interest, sources suggest LA has applied a Falcons tax to any buyout, leaving Gentlemates in pole position. My understanding is that Nadeshot, or whoever's making the calls over at Thieves, Gentlemates are phoning up and he's quoting them X to buy out Ghosty off the team. Falcons called him up and he's timesing that number by 2 and saying, if I'm sending to you, I want this because I know you've got the bag. So some people are saying this is ethical COD.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
But if you like, listen, if you know man's got bread, why not try and extort man for bread? Like,
Yeah, I respect it. It's just business. It's literally strictly business. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But it means the Falcons, like, if Falcons are smart, they're going to be sitting there like, damn, Ronnie just leaked that they're charging me more than they're charging Gentlemates. Like, I'm paying that shit. They're happy to take this money from this guy. So, you know, maybe it's just fair business, but it doesn't. It makes it far more likely that Ghosty's going to end up on Gentlemates here, because if you're Falcons, you're not just going to pay the Falcons tax over and above what you need to pay. But like, if the orgs know this, it doesn't necessarily restrict what Falcons can do because they can still drop the bag. But like a few days ago, there was lots of people really concerned that Falcons were going to ruin the league. You know, like they were just going to have so much money. They were going to pay 2 mil for Scrap, 3 mil for Hydra, 5 mil for Shotzi and just ruin the league. But that's clearly not what's happening. Like, at least not yet, Don.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna have to wait till some other people get out of contract, but yeah, they got the bag. Try to get the bag from him, man. That's it.
So Ghosty, Neptune, Envoy, and Nasty. That's the big rumor. He goes on to say that there's some that are potentially prepared to pivot towards Gwyn. Also, it's probably the first time that we've heard any discussion about Gwyn this ROSTERMANIA since he did the free agent tweet, but now he's potentially in the convo. But the most likely team, to our understanding right now, is Neptune, Ghosty, Nasty, Envoy, which to me is a pretty nice team. Like, I think, I think they've done a pretty damn good job with that. I mean,
team.
How do you compare that team to FaZe, out of interest? Because it's 2 of the Surge guys, right? 2 of the Surge guys gone to FaZe with Simp and Abuza, or Simp and Draza. The other 2 guys, Neptune and Nasty, they go and play with Ghosty and Envoy. It's like 2 from Surge, 2 from Thieves.
I mean, listen, you get the benefits of playing with Envoy and Ghosty is that you get the OBJ advantage, which allows the other 2 on the team to actually, you know, do more on the map. Then you got FaZe. You know, we know how good Simp is. What if it is? Don't worry about FaZe. I'm him. Then you know, fuck it. Like you know, we're all scared. That's actually a good question. I couldn't tell you how they're gonna match up. That would just be a really fun match to watch, I think.
Agreed. There's gonna be some good matches, man. There's no supreme standout right now. Like
Only OpTic.
Yeah.
OpTic's the only like supreme standout because we know how good they are and that they're staying as a team. But like this is what I've been wanting since since day one. You know, I've
Yeah.
wanted all the top teams to split and go other places, and they have. What sucks is the teams that aren't, you know, the teams that, you know, were middle of the pack have gone down to bottom of the pack and just going to get bummed. But that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I think that
I
is the
wonder-
big question. Yeah, go on, Dom, before I go.
I was about to say, just thinking about it, like, who's finna miss champs, bro? Like, are Falcons making champs with their roster? Like, wait, why you laugh? Hey,
Right.
like, so it's got to be 4 teams that miss it.
I
so,
will
like,
be
who-
eating so good.
I mean, brother, if I'm spending like nearly goddamn 2 mil on fucking salary, I hope I make champs. You're
Bro, well,
crazy.
But do you think they're guaranteed to make champs with Cell, Pred, Xnid, and Sib?
I think
like-
they'll make it. They'll be like
Okay, I'm just-
6th seed, 7th seed.
6.
yeah, I mean,
okay.
I think they make it. It's just
Okay.
like,
I was just asking a question because you got to think there's Boston. There's teams that we're not even like thinking of.
Yeah, we
like,
don't know what Boston are doing right now. There's some rumors about them maybe having purged
Boston got
Cam
top 3
Snoopy
at
and Craze.
champs.
That was a rumor. They did get top 3 at champs.
and then there's also a rumor that Seattle, Vancouver Surge are picking up the whole Omit roster.
Yeah,
whole Omit,
so
that's
there's,
what I'm saying.
there's 2 sides to this as well. Obviously, Omit, they did take down the FaZe guys, as we know, at the World Cup. I think, yeah, Ronnie just did the tweet about the Surge guys. See if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. He's talking about picking up the Omit team. So that's an option as well. Franchise parted ways with the whole team. Rambo's gone as well. So Craze, Mamba, Mac, and Vivid potentially. They just pick them straight up. Could be interesting. Again, they could be a threat. Ravens rest in piss. You know what it is. The other thing, I saw this tweet floating around. If Envoy doesn't join Gentlemate, sources say Kismet could be an option. So, but I think Envoy, it makes too much sense for Envoy to go there probably. I don't see, especially if Ghosty's going there, they do buy him out. I don't really see a good, better option there. So then, yeah, it's just amazing the amount of big name players that are on the market. You know, the fact that Kismet's out there, gettable, no one's picked him up yet. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, he's still got some good stock, but you know, we'll see. We'll see where he ends up. I rate Kiz highly, so you know, wherever he goes, I'm a fan.
I think the other
He'll be on the
question
team.
is, of these teams that we've looked through today, who are the, if this comes true, who's won ROSTERMANIA? Because I think you could argue that the winners are OpTic. Because if I'm looking at the other teams,
brother.
have FaZe got worse? Probably. Have Thieves got worse? I don't know. I
Tomato.
think the jury's out on that. I think they could be better or worse. They could be the same. I think Toronto have got slightly better, but they weren't making finals. Surge have blown it up, gone their separate ways. Like, I think OpTic will come out of this being pretty happy with what they're seeing, right? Because there was a concern for a couple of days that Falcons were going to come out and form some insane God Squad super team and just buy scrap and, you know, put in with Sale. I mean, I don't even know how good that team would have been, to be honest. But there was some concern that Thieves were going to be cooked. There was a couple of days we thought Thieves as a franchise were short because they were going to lose scrap. Like, Hydra's going to go next year anyway. They've got no money anymore. They can't buy a BZ. They're going to have to ask Ghosty to come back. And all of a sudden, it's working out for them, Trey.
I mean, I think they always had money, but you know, they're always gonna be frugal with it. You know, they ain't just gonna throw it around like Falcons have because you know they've got infinite money. I think it's also a good strategy to you know make people think you're broke. So like, shit, you know that you know we can't do this, they can't do that, and then they just turn it around and be like, actually we can do this. So you can go fuck yourselves. Look what we can do. I think realistically, the loser of ROSTERMANIA is all the fans that don't get to see Scrap and Dra as a team. I would love to. Obviously, never gonna happen. We've already spoke about it. We're not gonna get into it, but I think those two as a duo would be fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, they would.
Maybe it happens in another couple of years. But for now, it ain't happening just yet. That is for sure. And then, there's obviously plenty of other teams that don't have rosters yet. There's this cool site that one of, I think he does some stuff like the COD Muse as well for BP. But in his own time, he put together this website, ROSTERMANIA.com, and he's been cooking up some of the teams. You can mess around with some rosters here. But, we've not even talked about what Boston are going to do. They're going to bring in somebody else alongside, like another AR to try and upgrade. I think Slasher's another name. Like, I'd like to see Slasher still competing, but I agree with your take earlier, Don, that he needs to be in the right system, the right setup, stuff like that. I don't know what the hell Rocker are going to do. They've got Estriel. We thought they were maybe going to pick up the Omit team. Maybe that's not going to happen anymore. Cloud9, I mean, if Sib leaves, they're literally firing blanks. Like, where do they go? So there's still loads of things that still need to filter down here. But I think, and obviously Heretics, we don't know how they're going to conclude their roster either. They could be cooked. So Heretics feel like a loser so far because I just don't see how their team could be better than last year. I think that's the thing. The other teams, they could be better, they could be worse, but a lot of them will think they can at least be better at the big tournaments. But that's not going to be so clear. OpTic, the winners of ROSTERMANIA. Congratulations. But we'll see, because I still think OpTic, I still think they blow up after next off-season. I still think after next year's champs, they make a change. Just because the chances, the odds are in the favor of that.
It depends how they play, though.
Of course. But it's more likely than not that OpTic break up after next year's champs. Because it's less than 50% chance that they win it, just logically. And if they don't win it, they'll probably make a change with Scrap and Hydra on the market. So I think, that's just the way I look at it. But maybe I'm getting too greedy because this ROSTERMANIA has been crazy and I'm asking for another one next year. So
this is the best ROSTERMANIA we're going to get. So far. Out of the CDL, this is the best one we're going to get. So calm down your fucking horses, Reb, because damn.
Nah, this one has been a great one. FaZe blowing it up, it was always going to happen.
Yeah, FaZe blowing it up did a lot, bro. That shit did a lot.
It did an awful lot. All right, we've got one or two final things to mention. Just wanted to round out the top 20 players. Shotzi's just come through. He's number 3. So third best player of the year according to the average BP awards. Didn't beat out either of the Thieves guys. I think there's some debate. People are going to be like, oh, well, Hook was better or something. Look, Shotzi was great towards the end of the year. He had a 1.24 at the World Championship. Insane impact at the end of the season. And even when they were bad, he wasn't that bad individually. He was making some questionable plays. Hacienda, we remember it well. But when it mattered at the end of the year, Shotzi turned up. Number 2, it went to, drumroll, Shock, Hydra. Actually, this is very close. I'm looking at the average vote here. Shotzi's average position was 3.57. Hydra's average position was 3.37. So it was close between the pair of them. Shotzi nearly got number 2 overall, but of course there's only one winner of the year.
Yeah. There's only one winner, and you guys know who it is.
Yeah, it's not been tweeted out yet, so I've not
Thieves
got a graphic.
Awards.
So, the Thieves Awards are back at it again, so
I mean, to be fair, we heard Thieves got money now, so we started fucking glazing.
Yeah, we did, yeah. They might drop a little sponsor on the show, presented
and also,
by
I'm here, maybe Falcons do offer $1 million, we're extra glazing. You know what? You got, Matthew Nade Shot Hague, you just got a fucking funding ability going on right now. How about you fund the boys over at Breaking Point? We'll keep glazing for sure.
Yeah, the number 1 player of the year goes to Snoopy. No bias. King of Bodhi. Deloshi cashing in the money in the bank. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. Absolute pleasure to be joined by you all. We've gone through all the rosters, what's been happening over the last couple of days, what's quite possibly going to be happening next, because we did the award show. Thanks all for joining us. It's going to be a great time even in the next few days, because the top teams are becoming a little bit clearer. That does not mean the contracts are signed, doesn't mean that things aren't potentially subject to change, and things are still going to trickle down. But as it stands, I think Thieves should be pretty happy about the way the things look if they get that team over the line, and I think OpTic should be pretty happy as well about the way that things are lining up for them at the start of next season. Don, pleasure to have you back. Shame you couldn't be here in person yesterday for the BP Awards, but all good. Next year we're going to be out on the stage presented it live out of Arlington, Texas.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
You wanna close
Apologies
this out,
for the
Trey?
energy stream. I'm dying. I'm very tired.
We had a
So,
heavy couple of days.
Heavy couple of days. I just got back like 3 hours ago, so apologies for the lack of energy. I was actually gonna have a little drink on stream. Try and be a little more loose, but I fear I would have fell asleep. So, but this has been episode 71. We appreciate you for joining. We're just getting 1,000 viewers plus on every single stream now, so there's nothing else we can really say but thank you. Make sure you like. Make sure you like these, like Rab said earlier, it pushes the algorithm out, and that earns us a little bit of money. Make sure you sub. We're closing in on 75,000 subs, which is insane. We're trying to run it up to 100,000. That's the goal, so we can get a plaque. Me, Donnie, and Rab can get a plaque each. I'll stick it on the wall behind me. We'll get plaqued up.
Yeah.
Listen, we appreciate everyone for coming through. Probably a show next Monday too, because ROSTERMANIA is going to keep going. Once ROSTERMANIA ends, and there's nothing to talk about, then there's no more shows. But until then, you're going to get a show.
Damn
Yeah,
right.
I mean, might just play some games or something. I don't know.
Little
But
Black
yeah,
Ops
for
3
myself-
show, I'll be there.
You will not be playing Black Ops 3, and you ain't not got no movement.
You hadn't seen the montages, bro. Check, just have a look.
From myself, Mr. Donnie Temp, Mr. Tactical Rab. We'll see you guys next Monday. Absolute pleasure.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Later.